Chapter 3272. Right at this moment, the entire Soul Break Valley was suddenly filled with wind and rain, lightning and thunder. Before Evil Moon could react, Longao's figure had disappeared in an instant. Haha, Evil Moon, it seems that you're going to regret it. If Evil Moon had attacked crazily from the beginning, it would be a different concept. But now, the situation was completely different. Looking around, there was no one. Evil Moon's face instantly turned gloomy, as ugly as it could get. If Longao was in his heyday, according to the legend, he might really be able to contend with him. But now it was all nonsense. What was going on? Was the Chaos Palace in his hands really so heaven-defying? If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed that a little chaotic life and death warrior could disappear under his nose. Evil Moon had full confidence in his Chinku in space. He could not figure it out. Was it Duan Han? Suddenly, Evil Moon seemed to think of something, and his face became gloomier. Soul Break Cliff, tens of thousands of meters underground, in a huge cave residence. Looking at Duan Han in front of him, Longao said with a smile, "Thank you." Longao never thought that Duan Han would help him at the critical moment. He was still thinking about how to deal with Evil Moon when Duan Han's voice came into his mind. It seemed that Duan Han had chosen him in the end. He looked helpless. Duan Han still had a lingering fear of Evil Moon's strength and the power of the Chinku in space. He said helplessly, "Brother Long, I'll be your friend. But with all due respect, I can resist Evil Moon in the Soul Break Valley, but once I leave the Soul Break Valley." Speaking of this, Duan Han did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. "I understand. Then what should we do next?" Duan Han was ready. Once he helped Longao, it was equivalent to completely angering Evil Moon, and he knew what it meant. Although Duan Han was very confident in his strength, facing Evil Moon, he had no confidence at all. He was helpless. Restore the realm with all your strength. There was only one way to contend with Evil Moon, and that was to restore his realm as fast as possible. Once his cultivation base successfully broke through the chaotic reincarnation realm, he would be able to contend with Evil Moon. The title of the number one person below Tao confirming was not just for show. Longao was also looking forward to it. Once his cultivation broke through to the primal chaos reincarnation realm, he would be able to fight with Evil Moon at full strength. Brother Long, I'm also very curious. With your talent and situation, why are you still stuck at the chaotic life and death realm after thousands of years? Duan Han couldn't figure it out either. It was a little strange. Those who had fallen and entered the cycle of reincarnation had basically all recovered to the primal chaos reincarnation realm, except for Longao. There was something fishy about this. Shrugging helplessly, Longao smiled helplessly and said, "I also want to know what is going on. Duan Han, I will stay here for a while." All right. The two of them were very clear that they could not go out at this time. Once Evil Moon locked onto this cave residence, they knew what it meant. In the following period of time, Longao did his best to create a cultivation technique for Duan Han, tailoring and creating the most suitable cultivation technique. Duan Han's most powerful attack was the Primordial Spirit attack. Based on this, Longao directly created a soul-breaking divine art for him. In the beginning, Duan Han didn't quite believe it. After all, to create the most suitable cultivation technique according to each person's situation sounded a little unbelievable. However, his intuition told him that Longao wouldn't fool him, especially at this time. He regarded Longao as a true friend. If so, Longao wouldn't be too kind and wouldn't be able to explain it to his friend. About 3 months later, Duan Han was completely confused because his doubts at the beginning had completely disappeared. He could clearly feel that the Duan Han divine art that Longao had tailor-made for him was in defiance of the natural order. He believed that he would be able to reach the level of Evil Moon in the future if he practiced this technique. How could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? Brother Long, thank you so much. With this cultivation technique of yours, even if I can't succeed in the Tao confirming realm in the future, I believe that I will be infinitely close to it. Haha, give me enough time, and I will even have the strength to fight against Evil Moon. Dao Confirming Realm. When it came to Dao Confirming Realm, Longao had a deep sense of helplessness. In any case, he was only one step away from succeeding in Dao Confirming Realm. However, this last step was stopped abruptly, and he almost died. Longao didn't say much and said, "Duan Hun, Evil Moon has left. You stay here and cultivate." Of course, Duan Hun knew what Longao meant. Although Shi Yue had left, he couldn't guarantee that Shi Yue had really left. God knew where Shi Yue was hiding. Duan Hun was no longer the same as before. He forcibly intervened in Longao's matter. If there was no accident, once he appeared and was locked by Shi Yue would definitely deal with him. With his current strength, he was still no match for Evil Moon. Duan Hun said worriedly, "Brother Long, with all due respect, if you go out and meet Evil Moon in your current situation, you will be in danger. If it weren't for the terrain of Soul Break Valley and his countless years of arrangements, it wouldn't have been easy to escape Evil Moon's targeting. If Longao was at his peak, he might have had a chance against Evil Moon. However, now Longao was only a chaotic life and death expert. Facing Evil Moon, he would only die. It was obviously not the best time to go out now. Duan Hun couldn't figure out why Longao was in such a hurry to leave. He really couldn't figure it out. "Duan Hun, I have very important things to do. I can't stay here forever. If Evil Moon keeps guarding outside Soul Break Valley, I won't be able to stay here forever. Don't worry. As long as I'm not shrouded by the universe space, there won't be any problem for me." Longao had full confidence in this. As long as he wasn't shrouded by the universe space, he could enter his chaotic Dantian at any time. In this way, it was almost impossible for Evil Moon to target him, since things had already come to this. Duan Hun also knew that he couldn't say anything more. He nodded and said, "Then you must be careful." Okay. He didn't continue to stay. He didn't know what was going on with his situation. However, no matter what price he had to pay, the most important thing was to do everything possible to smoothly break through the chaotic reincarnation realm. Chapter 3273. It was just as Longao and Duan Hun had guessed. Instead of leaving, Evil Moon had been guarding Duan Hun Valley. By now, Evil Moon knew that the person who had saved Longao was definitely Duan Hun. He was furious. Killing intent filled the air. He had failed to kill Longao twice in succession, let alone devouring the so-called primordial spirit. Waiting for the rabbit, Evil Moon thought that the two of them would definitely leave Duan Hun. Although he did not know what was going on and how the two of them could escape from his Qiankuan space. "Evil Moon, I will definitely make you pay for today's grudge double in the future." Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Following a burst of laughter, Longao's voice disappeared completely. Left? Of course. Evil Moon knew that Longao had a Chaos Palace in his hands. It was said that even Chaos Reincarnation martial artists could not lock onto it. From this, one could imagine how heaven-defying this Qiankuan Palace was. Instead of being angry, he laughed. Evil Moon knew that as long as the other party's cultivation base did not recover to Chaos Reincarnation state, he would always be able to suppress the other party. Chaos Palace? 9 Revolutions Chaos Mantra? Chaos Mythical Beast Diagram and 9 Chaos Mythical Beasts? Essence Spirit? The other party had quite a number of treasures on him. If he could kill the other party and obtain these items, it would definitely be of great help to his Dao. Evil Moon did not care about Duan Hun's life or death. If he had time in the future, he could come back to deal with Duan Hun. But now was obviously not the time. It was more important to deal with Longao. Longao, who had left successfully, had a bad feeling in his heart. It was as though someone had been following him. Could it be Evil Moon? He did not dare to be careless and immediately entered his Chaos Dantian to check his body. If he did not check, he would not know. Now that he checked, he was shocked. Longao finally discovered just where the inkling went wrong. So, when Longao was shrouded in the Qiankuan space, Evil Moon had already left his aura on Longao. As long as he did not hide in a special place, Evil Moon would be able to sense Longao's aura. What a sinister move. Fortunately, He had the chaotic Dantian, and his primordial spirit had reached an extremely terrifying level. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died this time. Longao relied on the combined power of various deviant fires to quickly eliminate his own aura. He finally heaved a long sigh of relief. Brother Long, don't be reckless in the future. How could Longao not know about Qin Shuangshuang's worries? He smiled and said without a care, don't worry. As long as I am not enveloped by the Chinku in space, I can leave at any time. Longao could only make sure that his primal chaos Dantian wouldn't be locked down or even broken by Evil Moon in the universe space. It was better to be safe than sorry. If Evil Moon could really lock and destroy his chaotic Dantian with the help of the universe space, there would be no chance for him to regret. Brother Long, why don't we find a place to cultivate in seclusion? In the remaining 5,000 years, I don't believe that your cultivation can't return to the reincarnation chaotic realm. Qin Shuangshuang was really worried about Longao's safety. If it was just Mo Wutian and the others, with Brother Long's strength, he could still deal with them. Now that there was the powerful Evil Moon, how could she not be worried? Evil Moon was too powerful. Not to mention the current Brother Long. Even if Brother Long had returned to his peak, it was still unknown whether he could contend against Evil Moon. In Qin Shuangshuang's opinion, with Brother Long's talent, it should be more than enough for him to break through to the chaotic reincarnation realm in 5,000 years. However, Longao wasn't completely confident. After all, he had spent 3,000 years and still hadn't successfully broken through to the chaotic reincarnation realm. It was impossible. Longao didn't express his helplessness. He said, Shuang, just cultivating in seclusion isn't the key. Although Evil Moon is powerful, I have the help of the Chaotic Palace. It won't be easy for Evil Moon to deal with me. Was that really the case? Qin Shuangshuang certainly wouldn't believe it completely. However, she knew Brother Long's character very well. It seemed that it was difficult to change Brother Long's mind, especially when facing a powerful enemy like Evil Moon. With Brother Long's competitive spirit, he would definitely deal with Evil Moon. Evil Moon, who was locking onto Longao's position, suddenly stopped. His face instantly turned gloomy and ugly. The aura disappeared. Evil Moon was very confident in the aura mark he had left behind. How could Longao discover such a hidden aura mark? He would never have thought that Longao had the chaotic Dantian and the help of the chaotic tree. If it was anyone else, they would definitely not be able to discover the aura mark. Evil Moon was very clear that once the aura mark he had left behind disappeared, it would be as difficult as ascending to the sky to continue to lock onto the other party's trace. Evil Moon himself was a legend in the chaotic realm. He had never encountered such a thing. If he hadn't experienced it personally, he wouldn't have believed it. He was very helpless, but more than that, he was angry. The matter of the Soul Break Valley had not spread. Longao and Duan Hun definitely wouldn't know. As for Evil Moon, it was even more unlikely that Longao had escaped from under his nose. It was simply a great humiliation. If this matter were to spread, everyone knew what it meant. Inside the chaotic Dantian, because of the chaotic tree, Xinyuan Bubi's primordial spirit was preserved in the end. However, it was very weak. Not to mention facing a chaotic reincarnation realm warrior. Even an ordinary warrior could easily devour his primordial spirit. In order to recover his primordial spirit as soon as possible, Xinyuan Bubi had been cultivating beside the chaos tree. Even so, the speed of his recovery was relatively slow. At this rate, he did not know how long it would take for him to recover to the primordial spirit realm, let alone to the primordial spirit realm. Master, why are you looking for me? Longao was very curious. He didn't know why his master suddenly looked for him. Under normal circumstances, with a treasure like the chaotic tree, his master should be trying his best to recover his primordial spirit. If there wasn't anything important, he believed that his master wouldn't look for him casually. What was the matter? You said before that you have been in seclusion for 3,000 years and haven't successfully broken through to the chaotic reincarnation realm. Is that right? Yes. Could it be that his master had a way to break through to the chaotic reincarnation realm? If that was the case, it would be an unexpected piece of good news for him. Xinyuan Bubi's face was very solemn. He said, I have already observed your situation. According to my guess, if there are no accidents, at this point, Xinyuan Bubi didn't continue. Chapter 32:74. Looking at his master who was hesitating to speak, Longao was even more curious. Could it be that things were troublesome? Longao had already decided that no matter what price he had to pay, as long as he could return to the chaotic reincarnation realm, he would do anything. Master, please speak your mind. Xuanwubushuan let out a deep sigh. Xinyuan Bubi said helplessly, I really did not expect that there would be someone who could cultivate chaotic sacred body in chaotic world. Unbelievable. What one feared would come true. All along, Longao had always thought that the reason why his cultivation could not break through the chaotic reincarnation realm was because of his chaotic sacred body. However, he later denied it. Hearing his master's words, Longao's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that his inability to return to the chaotic reincarnation realm had something to do with chaotic sacred body? If that was the case, things would be troublesome. Longao knew nothing about the chaotic sacred body that he had condensed. He didn't even know why he was able to condense it. His expression also changed slightly. I don't know much about the chaotic sacred body. I only heard that the chaotic sacred body is the #1 sacred body in the chaotic realm. Once it is refined, it will be difficult to break through in the future. If you had not refined the chaotic sacred body with your talent and potential, I believe that you would have recovered to the chaotic reincarnation realm 3,000 years ago. Longao nodded. How could he not know what his master meant? However, it was too late to say that now. God knew what was going on. Why would he cultivate the chaotic sacred body in this reincarnation? He was depressed. Since it had happened, he had to think about how to solve it. Master, what should I do? During this period of time, I have thought of countless ways. After thinking about it, there is only one way for your cultivation to return to the chaotic reincarnation realm. What is it? Hearing that his master had a way, Longao was elated and he could not wait to ask. As long as he could restore his cultivation base to the primal chaos reincarnation realm, he would not hesitate to pay any price. If you want to break through, you have to gather all 6 treasures. What treasure? In fact, there was no need to ask. Longao already knew. Since they could help him recover to the primal chaos reincarnation realm, it was obvious what these 6 items meant. He felt helpless. The first item, the chaos tree, you already have it. Chaos tree? Upon hearing that the first treasure was actually the chaos tree, Longao's face lit up again. He had already obtained a chaos tree, so there was no need to search for it. Looks like my luck is pretty good. If he hadn't encountered the chaos tree previously, he would know what it meant, no matter what. In any case, he had already obtained the chaos tree and was considered to have completed 1/6 of it. Longao also began to look forward to it. He did not know what the remaining 5 treasures were. It would be best if he had them himself. The second item is a Tao verification seed. My grass. Even though Longao had already guessed that the 6 treasures would be extraordinary, he had never expected that the second treasure would be the legendary Tao confirming seed. He knew better than anyone else what the Tao verification seed meant. The Tao verification seed was the seed left behind by the fallen Tao verification warrior. Once devoured, as long as it was suitable, one would be able to obtain the inheritance of the Tao verification warrior and become a new Tao verification warrior. From this, one could imagine what the Tao verification seed meant. Regardless of whether it was the chaos tree or the chaos seed, how could an ordinary person obtain it? If it wasn't for his good luck, he wouldn't have been able to obtain the chaos tree. However, Xinyuan Bubi laughed and said, I have already taken care of this matter for you, and I will not hide it from you. Previously, I was a Tao verification warrior, and I was ambushed and killed by a traitor. The reason why Gu Hao wants to find me, other than wanting to obtain the burning heartfire lotus, is more importantly because he wants to obtain my Tao verification seed. So that's how it is. Longao had already guessed that Gu Hao wanted to find his master's primordial spirit. Other than wanting to obtain the burning heartfire lotus, more importantly, he wanted to obtain his master's Tao verification seed. No matter what, as long as Gu Hao could devour the Tao verification seed left behind by his master, there was a 99% chance that he would succeed. Longao was very grateful in his heart. Of course, he knew that his master wanted him to devour his Tao verification seed. If that was the case, he would have already completed a third of it. Master, I believe you know better than me the importance of the Tao verification seed to you. If you give me the Tao verification seed, you will never be able to verify your Tao in the future. Being unable to verify one's Tao was too cruel. He couldn't let his master completely lose the chance to verify his Tao in order to help him. He really couldn't do it, and he wasn't willing to do it. Xinyuan Bubi smiled and said, the reason why my primordial spirit can be preserved is also because of the chaos tree. I am already very satisfied that it is not destroyed. Even if you don't devour my Tao verification seed, it will be very difficult for me to continue to verify my Tao in the future. Master. Waving his hand, before Longao could finish speaking, Xinyuan Bubi had already interrupted him and said, don't say anymore. Master has already decided. You already have the second treasure, so you can be considered to have completed a third of it. Remember, the remaining 4 treasures are the truly difficult ones for you. Seeing that his master had already made up his mind, Longao didn't say anything more. However, the gratitude in his heart was self-evident as he quietly listened. He knew that his master must have purposely said that he had the first 2 treasures. It seemed that he didn't have the remaining 4 treasures. The remaining 4 treasures are the reincarnation fruit, the tricolor flower, the underworld water, and the beast core of a chaos reincarnation divine beast. Although he had already guessed that the remaining 4 treasures would be extraordinary, Longao was still startled when he heard that. However, compared to the first 2 treasures, the remaining 4 treasures were nothing. Reincarnation fruit, tricolor flower, netherworld water, and the beast core of a chaos reincarnation divine beast. Longao sighed. The other 3 treasures were really difficult to obtain. As for the last one, he could still do it. After all, with his current strength, Shuang, and the other 9 chaos divine beasts, it was not impossible to kill a chaos divine beast and wait for the other party's beast core. Whether you can return to the chaos reincarnation realm will depend on whether you can obtain the 4 treasures. No matter what, don't give up so easily. Chapter 3275. The 6 treasures that his master mentioned were the chaos seed, chaos tree, tricolor flower, reincarnation fruit, nether water, and the beast core of the chaos reincarnation divine beast. He had already obtained the chaos seed and chaos tree, so there were only 4 treasures left. Longao told Qin Shuang and the rest, including Blackie and all the chaos divine beasts, what his master said. Boss, what do you want to do? What do you guys think? Brainstorming. Longao also wanted to hear everyone's opinions. After all, looking at the 4 treasures, any one of them was not easy to obtain. Qin Shuang's voice was extremely solemn as she said, Brother Long, I don't know about the other things, but I still know a little about this tricolor flower. Tell me about it. Longao never thought that Shuang would know about the tricolor flower. As long as she knew, it would be easy. Brother Long, according to the rumors, the tricolor flower is a treasure born from chaos. Although it's not as good as the chaos tree, it's not much different. Longao didn't say anything and just listened quietly. Longao had also heard of this rumor. The tricolor flower was known as the second divine item in the chaos realm and was only a hair's breadth away from the chaos tree. However, the tricolor flower was no different from the chaos tree. It was not easy to obtain. Back then, I was lucky enough to see the tricolor flower once. It was that time when countless people died. In order to obtain the tricolor flower, the entire chaos realm was moved. He nodded. Even now, Qin Shuang felt a lingering fear when she thought of this. That was because the battle back then was too tragic. Countless people died, and it shocked the entire chaos realm. Brother Long, although countless people died in that battle, in the end, no one could take away the tricolor flower. It was also that time that the tricolor flower completely disappeared. They were in big trouble. Of course, Longao knew. Not to mention whether he could obtain the tricolor flower. Whether he could lock onto the tricolor flower was unknown. If it wasn't for his good luck back then, he wouldn't have been able to obtain the chaos tree. Luck couldn't favor him every time. But I know where the tricolor flower is. Huh? Hearing that Shuang knew where the tricolor flower was, Longao was shocked. He immediately asked, "Where is it?" Longao naturally knew what the tricolor flower meant to him. If he could collect all 6 treasures, he would be able to break through to the primal chaos reincarnation realm. In the end, he still had to deal with his chaotic sacred body. That was the key. If he could successfully obtain the tricolor flower, he would have completed half of the 6 treasures. How could he not be surprised? How could he not be excited? How could he not be impatient? What's more, Longao didn't hold back at all with Shuang. "Brother Long, I'm not the only one who knows about the tricolor flower. Many people know about it, but no one dares to look for it. Do you know why? Those who want to look for him have all died." Yes, this was also what Shuang felt the most helpless about. Of course, she hoped that Brother Long could successfully break through to the primal chaos reincarnation realm. However, she didn't want Brother Long to take the risk. She was very conflicted. For a moment, she didn't know what to do. Should she tell Brother Long where the tricolor flower was? As if he could guess Shuang's thoughts, Longao smiled and said, Shuang, if my cultivation can't recover to the primal chaos reincarnation realm, once I encounter Evil Moon and the others, my final outcome will be." At this point, Longao didn't continue. However, the meaning in his words was very clear. As long as Shuang wasn't a fool, she could understand the meaning in Longao's words. She was very helpless. Of course, Shuang hoped that Brother Long's cultivation could recover to the primal chaos reincarnation realm as soon as possible. In this way, even if he couldn't defeat Evil Moon, he could only fight back. With a deep sigh, Shuang said worriedly, "Brother Long, I don't know if you've heard of Cloud Valley." "Cloud Valley? Could the tricolor flower be in Cloud Valley?" Nodding, Longao said, "Of course I've heard of Cloud Valley. According to legend, Cloud Valley is one of the forbidden places in the Chaos world. Ordinary people don't dare to casually step into it. However, anyone who steps in, even if they are primal Chaos reincarnation realm warriors, will not leave alive. Could the tricolor flower be in Cloud Valley?" Yes, the tricolor flower is in Cloud Valley. For countless years, many primal Chaos realm warriors have continuously stepped into Cloud Valley. However, no one has been able to leave alive. I see. However, after thinking about it, it made sense. After all, Cloud Valley was a forbidden place in the Chaos world. Moreover, among all the forbidden places, it could definitely be ranked in the top 3. Such a dangerous place. Unless there was water in one's brain, no one would step into it. Although the tricolor flower was a peerless treasure, it was nothing compared to one's life. After a short rest, we will leave for Cloud Valley. Without even thinking, Longao had already decided to go to Cloud Valley. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to find the remaining 4 treasures. Now that he knew the whereabouts of the tricolor flower, if he did not go to Cloud Valley, he would not even have the chance to regret it. Longao had never thought that he would obtain the specific location of the tricolor flower. This time, he had to thank Shuang. Otherwise, it would not be an easy task to find the tricolor flower. Shuang's face was filled with worry as she said, "Brother Long, you should know what Cloud Valley represents. Once you step into Cloud Valley, the slightest bit of carelessness will cause you to be consigned to eternal damnation. Why don't we think of other ways and see?" Longao waved his hand. How could he not know what Shuang meant? However, he was determined to get the tricolor flower. How could he choose to give up so easily? His master had already said that the chaotic sacred body that he had condensed was very troublesome. It was almost impossible to break through the bottleneck and break through the chaotic reincarnation realm by relying on his own cultivation. Unless he could gather the 6 treasures and merge them with the chaotic sacred body, then he could smoothly break through from the chaotic life and death realm to the chaotic reincarnation realm. Because of this, Longao would definitely not choose to give up. This time, he was determined to go to Cloud Valley. Thinking of this, Longao said with a smile, "Shuang Shuang, don't worry. I will be fine. You should know what my chaotic dantian means. Once I encounter danger, I will definitely enter my chaotic dantian." Longao was very confident in his chaotic dantian. However, it was not omnipotent. As for whether he could come out alive after entering Cloud Valley, it was still unknown. However, no matter what, he was determined to get Cloud Valley and the tricolor flower. Chapter 3276. Cloud Valley, one of the forbidden grounds of the Chaos World. Many people knew that the legendary tricolor flower was in Cloud Valley. Knowing it was one thing, but whether or not he could obtain it was another. Countless chaos martial artists stepped into Cloud Valley, but no one was able to successfully obtain the tricolor flower from Cloud Valley. Not only that, however, no one who entered Cloud Valley came out alive. As time slowly passed, no one dared to casually step into Cloud Valley anymore. Longao looked at the huge valley in front of him in shock. Because Cloud Valley was located in the void of the 9 heavens, at the peak of the clouds. It was illusory and beautiful. Brother Long, have you really thought it through? Qin Shuangshuang did not care about the beautiful scenery around Cloud Valley. Her face was filled with worry. Once Brother Long stepped into Cloud Valley, his life and death would be unpredictable. How could she not worry? How could Longao not know about Shuangshuang's worry? He smiled. Longao said confidently, "Shuang, you have to believe in your husband. I will definitely obtain the tricolor flower." Since things were already like this, there was no need to give up. According to his master, if he wanted to break through the chaos reincarnation realm, he had to gather 6 treasures. How could he give up on the tricolor flower? It was impossible. Qin Shuang sighed in her heart. How could she not know Brother Long's character? She was helpless, but she had already thought it through. If anything happened to Brother Long, she would definitely not live alone. She took a deep breath. Placing both hands into his chaos dantian, Longao did not continue to hesitate. With a stride, he disappeared from the peak of Cloud Valley. The entire Cloud Valley was filled with white fog, and one could not see the end of it. He did not dare to be careless. No matter what, there were rumors that everyone who entered Cloud Valley had died, including chaos reincarnation martial artists. In such a situation, it would be a lie to say that he was not worried. Step by step, he was on full alert. Longao carefully moved forward, but the white fog seemed to be endless. No matter how long he walked, he could not reach the end. Could it be a maze formation? It was impossible. Longao himself was also an array master, and he had already reached a very high level of attainment in array formations. As long as he probed a little, he already knew that the white fog lingering in the depths of his body was not the so-called maze at all. In that case, why couldn't he walk out of the white fog? He was very curious and did not know what was going on. Longao did not continue forward. He stopped and calmed down. He began to use his Yuan spirit to cover the surrounding space. Let's see what's going on. The more he sensed, the more curious he became. He didn't know why the Cloud Valley he had entered could become one of the forbidden grounds of the primal chaos world. However, Longao wasn't a fool. Since Cloud Valley could become one of the forbidden zones in the primal chaos realm and be ranked in the top 5, or even top 3, there must be a reason for it. The more it was like this, the more afraid Longao was. Before the storm, it was always calm and peaceful. Ao coming first. Hearing his master summon, Longao's figure instantly entered his primal chaos dantian. He was very curious and did not know why his master had summoned him. "Master, you're looking for me?" "Ao, do you already know the exact location of the tricolor flower?" Nodding his head, Longao did not hide anything from his master and roughly told him about Cloud Valley. It was still the same sentence: the tricolor flower must be obtained. Hearing the 3 words Cloud Valley, Xinyuan Bubi's face instantly turned solemn. Seeing this situation, Longao's heart moved. It seemed that not only did his master know about Cloud Valley, but he also had a deep understanding of it. If that was the case, then things would be much easier. Master, is Cloud Valley? Waving his hand, before Longao could finish his words, Xinyuan Booby had already interrupted him. Although the tricolor flower is very useful to you and is also the key to breaking through the primal chaos realm, I must remind you that at this time, you must choose to give up. Give up the tricolor flower and immediately leave Cloud Valley. Ah! Hearing his master's words, Longao's face instantly changed. He had never imagined that his master would say this to him at this time. It was simply impossible for him to give up the tricolor flower and leave Cloud Valley. The situation was very clear. If he could not obtain the tricolor flower, he would not be able to break through the primal chaos reincarnation realm. If his cultivation could not break through the primal chaos reincarnation realm, he knew what it meant. Not to mention others, just facing Xiaoyu alone, he would not be able to contend against him. Master, you already know my situation. No matter what, I will not choose to give up. Please forgive me. Longao naturally knew that his master said this for his own good. However, the situation was a little different. He had to obtain the tricolor flower and break through the primal chaos reincarnation realm. As if he had already guessed that his disciple would make such a choice, Xinyuan Booby sighed deeply and said helplessly, do you know why Cloud Valley is listed as one of the forbidden areas in the primal chaos realm? Why, no matter who it is, even if it is a primal chaos reincarnation realm cultivator, once they step into Cloud Valley, they will die without a doubt. Master, please tell me. Longao had already guessed that the things he did not know, his master definitely knew. Even his master was so afraid. Thinking about it, he knew what Cloud Valley meant. It seemed that it would not be easy for him to find the tricolor flower in Cloud Valley. I believe you also know that in the primal chaos realm, there are actually people who have attained Tao before. It's not just me. Longao nodded. How could he not know what his master said? In the countless years of the primal chaos realm, how could his master be the only one who had attained Tao? When he was roaming the primal chaos realm, he had already heard that there were people who had succeeded in attaining Tao. He knew that Tao-proving cultivators generally did not appear. It was precisely because of this that Longao had never seen any other Tao-proving cultivators other than his master. However, after his master's confirmation, he had already guessed that Cloud Valley was very likely related to Tao-proving cultivators. If that was the case, then the matter would be very troublesome. I believe you have already guessed it. That's right. Just as you have guessed, Cloud Valley is the place of seclusion of a Tao-proving cultivator. And this Tao-proving cultivator is called Cloud Ancestor by the Primal Chaos Realm. Tao-proving cultivator, Cloud Ancestor. Longao naturally had not heard of Cloud Ancestor. However, how could a person who had successfully attained Tao be an ordinary person? Chapter 32:77. He was shocked. Longao also never thought that inside Cloud Valley, there would actually be a Tao validation martial artist existing. No wonder even a Chaos Reincarnation Realm warrior would not be able to leave Cloud Valley alive. Think about it. Who could leave alive when facing a Tao Vindication warrior? At this moment, Longao finally knew why his master wanted to stop him. Was he going to give up just like that? Longao knew that if he chose to give up now, it would be impossible for him to break through the Chaos Reincarnation Realm with the Chaos Sacred Body. For a moment, Longao also did not know how to choose. If it was any other danger, it would not be able to stop him. Only the Tao Vindication warrior in front of him. Even if he was at his peak, he would not be able to fight against a Tao Vindication warrior. There was no doubt about it. Xinyuan Booby did not know what to say. He could not continue to let his disciple choose to give up. Xinyuan Booby knew very well what it meant if his disciple chose to give up. He was helpless. Master, is there a chance? Yes. Longao was overjoyed when he heard his master say there was a way. He immediately asked Master, what is it? If he could get the tricolor flower, he would not hesitate to face danger. Only Longao. If it were anyone else who knew that there was a Tao Vindication warrior in Cloud Valley, they would not dare to step into Cloud Valley even if they were beaten to death. After all, a Tao Vindication Warrior was the most powerful existence in the Chaos Realm. Even a Chaos Reincarnation Realm Warrior, such as Evil Moon, was like an ant in front of a Tao Vindication Warrior. Ao, it depends on your luck. Luck? Longao did not know what his master meant. What did getting the tricolor flower have to do with luck? According to my guess, if there are no accidents, Cloud Ancestor has not come out of seclusion since he went into seclusion. Therefore, if you enter Cloud Valley, as long as Cloud Ancestor does not come out, you will succeed. I see. Longao roughly knew what his master meant. It was one thing to know, but it was another to actually do it. After all, according to the rumors, countless chaotic martial artists had stepped into Cloud Valley, but none of them had been able to leave alive. What did this mean? Even if the Cloud Ancestor was in seclusion, it would not be easy to obtain the tricolor flower in Cloud Valley. He didn't continue to dwell on it. Since he was already here, he would be unwilling to give up now. Looking at the surrounding white fog, Longao's expression became more and more serious. According to his master, he had not entered the real Cloud Valley. In other words, he was still at the entrance. He felt helpless. If it wasn't for his master's reminder, he wouldn't have known that there was a Tao validation cultivator in Cloud Valley. He wouldn't have even entered Cloud Valley. After calming himself down, Longao once again released his aura, which slowly enveloped his surroundings. Following his own aura, Longao unknowingly walked for about 10 minutes before he entered a huge valley. This was the real Cloud Valley. It was boundless. Longao was very clear that many chaotic martial artists who entered Cloud Valley could not even step into the real Cloud Valley. However, since he had already entered, he would not be reconciled if he chose to leave without obtaining the tricolor flower. The Cloud Ancestor. Longao was very wary of the Tao validation cultivator that his master had mentioned. He began to search for the tricolor flower with all his might. Longao knew that even if he had entered Cloud Valley, it was still unknown whether he could obtain the tricolor flower. In the end, it still depended on luck. If he was unlucky, he would not have obtained the Chaos Tree. This time, it was the same for searching for the tricolor flower. If he was lucky, he would definitely find it. If he was unlucky, even if the tricolor flower was right in front of him, he might not be able to obtain it. Very helpless. Longao, of course, knew that to find the tricolor flower, he still had to rely on luck. However, Cloud Valley was boundless. On one hand, he was wary of the Cloud Ancestor coming out to deal with him. On the other hand, he had to search for a treasure in such a huge space. It was really difficult. What should he do? Just at this moment, the entire Cloud Valley was suddenly filled with dark clouds. Lightning flashed and thunder boomed. In just a few short seconds, the surrounding space was filled with dense lightning strikes. One after another, terrifying lightning strikes descended. Longao naturally knew that if a chaos martial artist were to step into Cloud Valley, there was a 100% chance that he would fall. However, thinking about it was one thing. Longao could clearly sense that the entire world was filled with endless lightning strikes. Not to mention himself, even a chaos reincarnation martial artist would find it hard to defend against these terrifying lightning strikes. Boom, 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 boom. The entire world was filled with the sounds of thunder. Longao did not dare to be careless. Ever since he had entered Cloud Valley, he had already decided that whether he could do it or not, he would not step into the Chaos Danteon. Who knew if he had already been targeted by the Cloud Ancestor? He knew nothing about the powers and mystic skills of a Tao validation cultivator. The peak of the fourth mystic skill, Reincarnation Transcendence, covered his entire body with a terrifying aura. Countless lightning bolts struck down continuously. Even though Longao was confident in his mystic skills, he still felt a lingering fear in the face of such terrifying lightning bolts. Under the continuous attacks, Longao was starting to find it hard to defend against. Indeed, this was a holy ground for Tao validation cultivators. Just by stepping in, he was already having a hard time moving forward. At this point, not to mention getting the tricolor flower, he did not even know if he could make it out of Cloud Valley alive. This was not the way to go on. The lightning strikes were way too dense. Even if he were to force his way forward, he would not be able to hold on for too long. As such, Longao's face was getting more and more serious. The Chaos Axe appeared in his right hand. Chopping out continuously, the Chaos 9 axes changed continuously. A series of axe shadows formed an aura shield. With this, Longao felt much more relaxed. He heaved a sigh of relief. Under such circumstances, he did not dare to be careless. Immediately, he headed towards the clear skies not far away. Longao's speed was very fast. In just a few minutes, he had already left the lightning attack area. However, before Longao could react, he heard continuous roars. His entire face instantly changed because countless strange spirit beasts had already appeared around him. Each of the spirit beasts was incomparably powerful, and they began to attack crazily. F***CK. Looking at the countless spirit beasts that had appeared all around him, Longao was completely dumbfounded. He was no stranger to these spirit beasts. These spirit beasts were from the Qilin race. Chapter 3278. The Kirin clan was one of the stronger clans among the spiritual beasts. However, the Kirin clan was similar to the Dragon clan. Although they were strong, there were very few of them. Countless Kirins swarmed over. Among them, water Kirins, fire Kirins, earth Kirins, lightning Kirins, and so on. As far as the eye could see, it was densely packed. Even Longao was solemn when facing such a huge Kirin clan at the same time. Longao was extremely solemn. He did not dare to hesitate at all. The Chaos Axe in his hand was thrown out quickly. One after another, it was as if he could topple the mountains and overturn the seas. Instead of being passive, he might as well take the initiative to attack. Fortunately, there were no Chaos Divine beasts among the Kirin clan. In that case, Longao could still deal with them. But the result? There were roars. When Longao heard the roar, his expression instantly changed. This was because he could clearly feel that several primal Chaos Divine beasts had appeared around him. With his current strength, if he were to launch such a powerful attack at the same time, he would know what it meant. The Kirins fell around him and turned into corpses. This could not go on. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. A total of 5 Chaos Reincarnation Kirins came out in a frenzy. Each of them was filled with endless anger, and they began to attack Longao. How could the 5 Chaos Reincarnation Kirins not be angry when they saw so many of their clansmen die? For countless years, there were many chaotic martial artists who stepped into Cloud Valley every day. However, there had never been such a loss of clansmen. 1 against 5. Even if Longao kept using reincarnation transcendence, it was still very difficult for him to deal with them. He began to retreat. As the battle continued to escalate, Longao knew very well that he could not fight against the entire Kirin clan with his own strength. At this moment, Longao immediately summoned the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts from his Chaos Dantian. Although the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts had not recovered to the Chaos Reincarnation realm, they were still intimidating. Long howls reverberated throughout the entire world. The Kirins who were attacking crazily all stopped, including the 5 Kirin sovereigns. They all looked at the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts in front of them in a daze. In the world of spiritual beasts, the 10 Chaos Divine Beasts were the most powerful beings. It was precisely because of this. All the Qilins in the Qilin clan could not figure out why 9 divine beasts of chaos would suddenly appear beside this man. Qilin clan, quickly retreat. Who dares to harm my boss? Die. The 5 Qilin emperors stared at the 9 divine beasts of chaos. One of them said coldly, "He killed so many of our people. Are we just going to let him go?" Blackie sneered and said coldly, "If you didn't attack my boss wouldn't have done anything." That being said, looking at the countless Qilin corpses around them, how could the 5 Qilin sovereigns accept this? The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. If it was just one person, the 5 of them would definitely not waste their breath. But now, the situation was completely different. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it. The 5 Kylan emperors could sense that the 9 chaotic divine beasts weren't chaotic reincarnation. If that was the case, they might have a chance to kill him if they attacked by force. But due to the deterrence of the 9 chaotic divine beasts, the 5 Kylan emperors didn't act rashly. I'll give you face. As long as this man leaves an arm or a leg behind, he can leave. Longao sneered in his heart. Of course, he knew why the 5 Kylan emperors did this. In the end, it was because the 5 Kylan emperors were instinctively afraid of the 9 chaotic divine beasts. What did that mean? No matter what, the 9 chaotic divine beasts had a high status in the world of spiritual beasts. Tao Tai sneered and said mockingly, "The Qilin clan suddenly disappeared from the primal chaos realm. So it turns out that they were sealed in Cloud Valley." Although the Qilin clan wasn't the most powerful existence, it wasn't something that ordinary spiritual beasts could compare to. However, many years ago, most of the Qilin clan had disappeared, causing the entire chaotic realm to be curious as to what had happened to the Qilin clan. Now that they saw the entire Qilin clan in Cloud Valley, Longao and the others knew without asking that the disappearance of the Qilin clan was caused by the Cloud Ancestor. The entire Qilin clan didn't have any power to fight back against a Tao validation warrior. We are willing to stay here. Although you are the top existence in the world of spiritual beasts, I can tell you clearly that our master is a great Tao validation warrior. Since you dare to barge into Cloud Valley, don't think of leaving alive. If it had been anyone else, they would have been scared out of their wits when they heard the words Tao validation warrior. After all the experts in the chaotic realm knew what a Tao validation warrior meant. A Tao validation warrior wouldn't appear casually, and very few people had seen one. However, Longao and the others already knew that Cloud Valley was the cultivation place of the Cloud Ancestor, and that the Cloud Ancestor was a Tao validation warrior. Seeing that the other party wasn't surprised at all, the 5 Qilin sovereigns were shocked. They didn't expect the other party to be so expressionless. The 5 of you listen up. I'm giving you one last chance. Leave now. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. If they were outside Cloud Valley, the 5 Qilin sovereigns would be fearful even if the 9 divine beasts of chaos hadn't recovered to the primal chaos reincarnation realm. After all, the 9 divine beasts of chaos were the most powerful existences in the world of spiritual beasts. However, the situation was different now. Not only were they in Cloud Valley, but they also had the support of the Cloud Ancestor. There was no need for them to be afraid of the 9 divine beasts of chaos. Thinking of this, the 5 Qilin sovereigns laughed maniacally and sneered. What divine beasts of chaos? I'd like to see how you can leave Cloud Valley alive today. As soon as they finished speaking, the Qilin army around them began to attack frantically again. Each of them was like a madman, like moths flying into a flame. You guys retreat first? Boss, if you want to leave, we'll leave together. If you want to stay, we'll stay together. The 9 divine beasts of chaos naturally knew what it meant to leave their boss alone. As the saying went, 2 fists couldn't fight against 4 hands. Moreover, there were 5 Qilin sovereigns in the Qilin clan. It was obvious that their boss wouldn't be a match for the Qilin clan. As long as the 9 divine beasts of chaos weren't willing to enter the primal chaos Dantian, even Longao wouldn't be able to force them. After all, Longao was only in the primal chaos life and death realm and hadn't recovered to the primal chaos reincarnation realm. Chapter 3279. Longao was very grateful. He knew very well that the 9 chaos divine beasts had acknowledged him from the bottom of their hearts. This was a good thing. Longao joined forces with the 9 chaos divine beasts, and with the help of the chaos divine beast diagram, they began to fight back. It had to be said, the chaos divine beast diagram, combined with the 9 chaos divine beast power, was not to be underestimated. Even the 5 Qilin sovereigns would find it difficult to advance further. Thus, both sides were in a stalemate. Qilin clan, retreat. At this moment, an ethereal voice suddenly rang out. The voice was filled with boundless majesty. Hearing the voice, all the Qilin army stopped, including the 5 Chilean sovereigns. All of their faces were filled with respect. In a short while, all the Chilean army retreated and disappeared without a trace. Subsequently, the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts all disappeared from the spot and returned to the chaotic Danteon. To be able to gather the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts, it seems like your Longao, who dominated the Chaos realm back then. Looking at the elder who suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao, of course, knew who the other party was. Bowing respectfully, Longao said, "Yes, Longao pays his respects to Cloud Ancestor." Cloud Ancestor. Longao's guess was right. The elder who had just descended was none other than the owner of Cloud Valley, Cloud Ancestor. He was also a Tao-proving warrior, the strongest existence in the entire Chaos realm. Follow me? In fact, when Longao first stepped into Cloud Valley, Cloud Ancestor already knew. However, for so many years, countless Chaos warriors had entered, but he had never appeared once. However, this time was an exception. He found that this person was very different, as he could gather the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts. Looking at the entire Chaos realm, it was not easy for even a Tao-proving warrior to gather the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts. It was because of this that Cloud Ancestor appeared. In front of a lake, the two sat on the ground. Longao found that Cloud Ancestor gave him a very calm feeling, just like an ordinary person. "Longao, I wonder why you came to my Cloud Valley this time?" Cloud Ancestor didn't ask because he already knew that the other party wasn't surprised to see him, which meant that the other party had already guessed his identity. If it were anyone else, how could they be so calm in the face of a Tao-confirming martial artist like him? Senior Cloud Ancestor, to tell you the truth, Longao didn't hide anything and told him about his desire to obtain the tricolor flower. The tricolor flower was a very important item even for Tao validation martial artists. On the other hand, the Cloud Ancestor was not surprised at all. "Longao, you should know what the tricolor flower is. It took me a lot of effort to get it." Longao didn't say anything. In this situation, it was not possible to obtain the tricolor flower just by being lucky. It was impossible to snatch the tricolor flower from the hands of a Tao validation martial artist unless one was out of their mind. Whether you break through or not has nothing to do with me. What he was afraid of really came true. As long as the other party put forward a condition, there would be hope to obtain the tricolor flower. However, he was facing a Tao-confirming martial artist now. How could a Tao-confirming martial artist want to make a condition with him? It was completely nonsense. He felt very helpless in his heart. It seemed that he might not be able to obtain the tricolor flower even if he entered the Cloud Valley. He was very unwilling in his heart. However, in this situation, what could he do even if he was unwilling? He was powerless in the face of a Tao affirmation cultivator. Seeing the other party not speaking, Cloud Ancestor suddenly smiled and said, "Longao, I really admire you. I have heard all the legends about you. You are really good." Longao shrugged helplessly and said, "Senior Cloud Ancestor, I came here mainly for the tricolor flower. It is very important to me. If Senior Cloud Ancestor agrees, then I, Longao, will owe you a favor." This time, Cloud Ancestor did not directly refuse, but said with a smile, "Longao, the tricolor flower is useless to me. There is no harm in giving it to you, but..." Speaking of this, Cloud Ancestor did not continue. He just quietly looked at the lake in front of him. No one knew what he was thinking. Hearing Cloud Ancestor's words, Longao was overjoyed and immediately asked, "Senior Cloud Ancestor, how can you give the tricolor flower to me?" Longao had already thought about it. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to find a way to obtain the tricolor flower. After all, the tricolor flower was too important to him. If he could not obtain the tricolor flower, his cultivation would not be able to smoothly break through the chaotic reincarnation realm. He knew the consequences better than anyone else. Obtaining the tricolor flower was a must. Breaking through the chaotic reincarnation realm was a must. Cloud Ancestor smiled and said, "Longao, I don't need to say more. You should know the importance of the tricolor flower. It is not impossible to give it to you, but you have to promise me 2 conditions. How about that?" "Senior, please speak." Longao was more or less relieved when he heard that Cloud Ancestor finally relented. He was afraid that Cloud Ancestor would not be able to negotiate. If that was the case, his side would really be in trouble. As long as Cloud Ancestor stated the conditions, he would definitely consider it as long as he could do it. Suppressing the surprise in his heart, Longao still did not know what conditions Cloud Ancestor would put forward. As if he could guess what Longao was thinking, Cloud Ancestor smiled and said, "Don't worry, the two conditions I mentioned are nothing to you." Longao did not take it seriously. After all, the gap between their realms was too big. It might not be a problem for a Tao validation warrior, but who knew if it would be difficult for him? Before Cloud Ancestor mentioned it, Longao could only wait. The first condition is that I want all the cultivation methods of the 9 Revolution Chaos technique that you practice. Although you only broke through the peak of the 7th Revolution, according to my guess, you should have perfected the 8th and 9th Revolution cultivation methods. Therefore, I need the 8th and 9th Revolution cultivation methods. I believe you will not refuse. It turned out that Cloud Ancestor wanted to ask for the 9 Revolution Chaos technique from him. Hearing Cloud Ancestor's first condition, Longao finally knew why Cloud Ancestor said that this condition was very simple for him. It was indeed very simple. In the entire Chaos realm, except for him, no one else could agree to Cloud Ancestor's request. As for why Cloud Ancestor wanted the 9 Revolution Chaos technique, Longao could completely imagine that Cloud Ancestor wanted the 9 Revolution Chaos technique because he valued the last revolution of the 9 Revolution Chaos technique, which was the so-called 9th Revolution. As for the 8th Revolution, it was actually useless to Cloud Ancestor. After all, as long as he broke through the 8th Revolution, he was on the right path. The key was the so-called 9th Revolution. Chapter 3280. Longao didn't care about his own 9 Revolution Chaos mantra. The reason was simple. Throughout the entire Chaos realm, except for himself, there was no one who could cultivate the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra. In other words, even if he imparted the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra to Cloud Ancestor couldn't cultivate it. Longao was still very confident about this. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately imparted the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra that he cultivated to Cloud Ancestor. Feeling the cultivation method that appeared in his mind, Cloud Ancestor certainly knew that this cultivation method was real and seemed to be very satisfied. But thinking about it, he was relieved. With his identity, no matter who it was, he would hand over what he wanted, even without the restraint of the tricolor flower. Tao validation martial artists were the peak existence of martial arts. Not to mention the current Longao. Even at his peak, Longao was an ant-like existence in front of a Tao validation martial artist. However, in front of a Tao validation martial artist, a Chaos reincarnation martial artist was just a relatively powerful ant. This was the strength of a Tao validation martial artist. Cloud Ancestor smiled and said, "You are very good. The second condition is very simple. You just need to cultivate the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra and give me everything you have comprehended." Longao already understood what Cloud Ancestor meant. In any case, the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra was created by himself. Even if the other party was a Tao validation martial artist, he may not be able to cultivate it successfully. But when it comes to his own cultivation comprehension, then it's another matter. If it were other cultivation methods, with Cloud Ancestor's cultivation comprehension and his own talent, he believed that there would be no problem in cultivating it. Only the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra created by himself. Longao was very confident in his own cultivation method. Even a Tao validation martial artist was no exception. Even the 9 Revolution Chaos mantra cultivation method was given. Longao, of course, would not hold back in the slightest about cultivation comprehension. All of it was imparted. Good, good, good. He said 3 good words in a row. Cloud Ancestor was pleasantly surprised. Of course, he could feel that this 9 Revolution Chaos formula was very unusual. As a Tao validation warrior, Cloud Ancestor was not a person who would go back on his word. He directly gave the tricolor flower to the other party. Looking at the tricolor flower in his hand, Longao suppressed the joy in his heart. He first sent the tricolor flower into his chaotic dantian. Longao stood up and bowed. "Thank you, senior cloud ancestor." Longao was truly grateful. After all, he knew very well what it meant to be a Tao confirming martial artist. Even if Cloud Ancestor forced him to hand over the 9-revolution chaos mantra, there was no problem at all. The Cloud Ancestor was not a bad person. "We're just taking what we need. You can leave now." He nodded. After successfully obtaining the tricolor flower, Longao naturally would not continue to stay here. After all, there were still 3 treasures that he had yet to obtain. He had to obtain the other 3 treasures as soon as possible. Longao did not even want to continue to wait for a second. After all, the deterrence of Evil Moon and the others was right there. 9-revolution chaos formula. It's really hard to imagine that a little chaotic reincarnation realm warrior could actually create such a heaven-defying cultivation method. Ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha. Cloud Ancestor's laughter spread throughout the entire Cloud Valley. After leaving Cloud Valley, Longao let out a long sigh of relief, because he was very clear that it still depended on luck to obtain the tricolor flower. Otherwise, not to mention obtaining the tricolor flower, it was really unknown whether he could leave alive. However, Longao was also very depressed. It seemed that the 9-revolution chaos formula that he created was very popular, even among Tao validation warriors. What kind of concept was this? Cloud Ancestor wanted to obtain the 9-revolution chaos formula. There was no doubt that if other Tao validation warriors knew about this, they would definitely ask him for it. It was really troublesome, but no matter what, he had already obtained the tricolor flower successfully. It could be said that he had completed half of his mission. The next thing to do was to get the other 3 items as soon as possible. That way, he would be able to break through to the chaotic reincarnation state smoothly. As for the remaining 3 treasures, the nether water, reincarnation fruit, and the beast pill of the chaotic reincarnation mythical beast. Other than the 3rd beast pill, there were no clues about the other 2. As for the beast pill of the chaotic reincarnation mythical beast, it should not be too difficult for Longao. After all, with his current strength and the help of Shuang and the others, it should not be too difficult for him to kill a chaotic reincarnation mythical beast. Therefore, the key was still the nether water and reincarnation fruit. But while searching for the other 3 treasures, Longao was very worried about the safety of Tsang Lin and Hanin, especially Tsang Lin. Sister Lin's body contained a chaos seed. Even though he did not know why the chaos seed had chosen Tsang Lin, he was still a little worried. Obtaining the chaos seed did not guarantee success in validating one's Tao. If one were to be devoured by the chaos seed, the consequences would be dire. Even one's essence spirit might be devoured. The Domain Lord's Alliance. Looking at Longao in front of them, whether it was Tsang Hao, Tsang Han, or Great Elder Shi, they all sighed. Thousands of years ago, Longao was just an ant in their eyes. But now, they had to look up to Longao. They were not even qualified to entertain him. The old ancestor had to come out personally. Longao, it's good to see you. Sanya was speaking from the bottom of his heart. Being able to leave safely under Evil Moon's nose twice already explained everything. Sanya knew very well what kind of existence Evil Moon was. Evil Moon was an invincible existence among the chaotic reincarnation warriors. Especially now that Longao was only a chaotic life and death, not a chaotic reincarnation. How could Longao not know what Sanya meant? Even though there were no eternal enemies or eternal friends in the world, Longao still regarded Sanya as a true friend at this time. I want to see Sister Lin. Sanya and the others naturally knew who the Sister Lin that Longao was talking about was. They also knew the relationship between the two. Sanya nodded and told Longao Tsang Lin's location. It seemed that he was not willing to wait for even a second. After all, time was everything to Longao. This time, he was very worried about Sister Lin's safety. Otherwise, he would not have rushed over in such a hurry. In an extremely secluded but elegant mountain peak, Song Lin sat quietly in a simple thatched cottage cultivating. Ever since the chaos seed began to exert its power, Song Lin's cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds. In just over 3,000 years, her cultivation had successfully broken through the chaotic life and death realm. She was only one step away from the legendary chaotic reincarnation realm. Chapter 32:81. Song Lin, who was cultivating. She suddenly opened her eyes and looked at the young man who suddenly appeared in front of her. Instantly, she was excited. "Brother Long? Is that you?" Longao was pleasantly surprised to see Sister Lin again. Song Lin hugged Longao tightly. Both of them didn't say anything. They just hugged each other quietly. After some time, "Brother Long, are you looking for me for something?" He nodded. "Sister Lin, given your cultivation speed, it seems like you have already integrated with the chaos seed." Song Lin, of course, did not hide anything from Longao. She told him everything that had happened in detail, especially about the primal chaos seed. Song Lin naturally knew what her brother meant. Whether the chaos seed was a blessing or a curse was still unknown. She sighed deeply in her heart. This was big trouble. Longao knew very well that if the chaos seed was really harmful to Sister Lin, she would be in endless trouble in the future. However, if the chaos seed was only beneficial to Sister Lin, it would be a different story. "Sister Lin, let me check for you." If he was alone, he definitely wouldn't be able to do anything. However, the situation was different now. His master was in the chaotic Dantian, and he had already communicated with his master. Therefore, after Sister Lin agreed, Longao started checking without hesitation. "Master, how is it?" Longao was equally nervous. No matter what, he definitely hoped that the chaos seed that Sister Lin had integrated with wouldn't cause her any harm. Xinyuan Bubi's face was getting more and more serious. He said, "Let's go." Within the chaotic Dantian. "Master, what's going on?" Looking at the expression on his master's face, Longao already knew that things weren't as good as he had imagined. Indeed, whatever he was afraid of would happen. He was worried that Sister Lin would be in trouble after integrating with the chaos seed. Indeed, it was just that he did not know how much harm the chaos seed would cause to Sister Lin. He regretted it. If he had known, he would have stopped Sister Lin from integrating with the chaos seed. Longao was confident in Sister Lin. As long as he asked, he believed that Sister Lin would definitely give up on integrating with the chaos seed. However, it was too late now. It was too late for regrets. Xinyuan Bubi naturally knew about the relationship between the young lady and Longao. He sighed deeply. "Aoer, this little girl of yours is very unlucky. If it were any other chaos seed, the chances of her being able to fuse with it and break through to the Dao validation realm would be very high." At this point, Xinyuan Bubi did not continue. The more it was like this, the more scared Longao was. What if something really happened to Sister Lin? "Master, what's going on?" He could not wait to find out what was going on. If he could stop it in time, there might be a chance to turn things around. Aoer, the little girl's primal chaos seed. According to my senses, if I'm not mistaken, it should be the evil ancestor's primal chaos seed. I really didn't expect that the evil ancestor who died back then didn't truly die. Instead, before Xinyuan Bubi could forgive me, Longao impatiently asked, "Master, who is the evil ancestor?" The evil ancestor is an existence on the same level as the cloud ancestor. However, the evil ancestor was too evil and killed too many people, so it provoked the dissatisfaction of other Dao validation martial artists. Many Dao validation martial artists joined forces to kill it. I see. Longao was extremely worried. He already understood what his master meant. The evil ancestor was an extremely evil person. The primal chaos seed he turned into would definitely devour Sister Lin in the future. There was no doubt about that. What should I do? As if he could guess what his disciple was thinking, before Longao could finish speaking, Xinyuan Bubi had already said, "Aoer, if the little girl had not merged with the primal chaos seed, everything would be fine." But now, although Xinyuan Bubi did not finish his sentence, the meaning of his words was very clear. Longao was not a fool. How could he not understand? Master, please. Nothing must happen to Sister Lin. Absolutely nothing must happen to her. The more he thought about it, the more afraid and worried he became. Longao even hoped that something would happen to him instead of Sister Lin. If it were any other matter, he might have a solution. However, when it came to the primal chaos seed left behind by the evil ancestor, Longao had no solution at all. This was because he knew nothing about Dao validation martial artists. Ao, give me some time. Let me think about it. Longao, of course, knew that this matter was troublesome. He did not continue asking and slowly left. Outside the primal chaos Dantian, looking at Sister Lin in front of him, Longao originally wanted to hide it. However, since things had already come to this, how could he continue hiding it? With that thought in mind, he said, Sister Lin, things are getting troublesome. What's wrong? Song Lin's heart skipped a beat. Of course, she knew what Longao meant. Could it be that the primal chaos seed she had merged with was really troublesome? If that was the case, wouldn't she be in trouble? Without hiding anything, Longao recounted everything that his master had told him in detail. After hearing everything, Song Lin was much calmer than he had imagined. She said helplessly, Brother Long, I understand. However, this is a disaster that cannot be avoided. Sister Lin, I will definitely think of a way to help you get rid of the evil ancestor's primal chaos seed. However, from now on, no matter what happens, you must not continue to merge with the primal chaos seed. If possible, and I say it is possible, you must start separating the primal chaos seed. When he thought about how the evil ancestor's primal chaos seed might devour Sister Lin's primordial spirit in the future and seize her soul for rebirth, Longao felt a deep sense of helplessness. However, this situation was very unfavorable for him. Even his master could not think of a better solution in a short period of time, let alone himself. He had no clue at all. The more he thought about it, the more helpless and afraid he felt. Brother Long, I know what to do. You don't have to worry too much. Song Lin would be lying if she said that she was not worried. After all, the evil ancestor was the most evil Dao-proving cultivator. Since he was so eager to merge with her, he must have wanted to devour her primordial spirit. However, it was too late for regrets now. Song Lin suppressed the fear in her heart. She definitely couldn't let Brother Long worry too much. However, the more she acted like this, the more Longao blamed himself and felt guilty. He clearly knew that he didn't know whether the primal chaos seed was beneficial or not. He should have stopped Sister Lin from fusing with it and waited until it was confirmed. It was all because of his negligence that things became so bad. If anything happened to Sister Lin, he would have to live in guilt and self-blame for the rest of his life. For a moment, the two of them did not know what to say. After all, the primal chaos seed left behind by a Dao-proving cultivator was really difficult to deal with. Chapter 3282. He was helpless. For the time being, Longao did not know what to do. The only thing he could do now was to wait for his master's idea. He hoped that his master would have a way to help Sister Lin deal with the chaos seed. Time passed quickly. 3 days later, Longao, who was troubled, suddenly heard his master's call in his mind. He was pleasantly surprised. Seemed like his master already had a plan and could not wait to enter the chaos Dantian. Master, you have a plan? He prayed in his heart, hoping that his master really had a plan. But the result? Looking at the expression on his master's face, Longao's heart sank. Master, what's wrong? Xinyuan Bubi's face was terrible as he said, after 3 days of thinking, I still have no idea. Before Longao could say anything, Xinyuan Bubi continued, if I was at my peak, I might have a way to deal with the chaos seed. But now, Xinyuan Bubi's meaning was clear. Longao was no fool. How could he not understand? Thinking about how Sister Lin would be devoured by the evil ancestor in the future, Longao felt a deep sense of guilt and self-blame. It was all because of him. If he had stopped Sister Lin previously, this would not have happened today. The more he thought about it, the more he blamed himself. If even his master could not help Sister Lin, there was no need to talk about others. After all, his master was a true Tao-proving warrior. Master, under normal circumstances, when would Sister Lin be devoured by the evil ancestor? If it's short, it would be hundreds of years. If it's long, it would be thousands of years. Longao's heart sank. He was helpless. According to his master, Sister Lin could last for thousands of years at most. If that was the case, he knew what it meant. Nothing must happen to Sister Lin. Master, is there really no way? How could Xinyuan Bubi not know what his disciple meant? He thought about it. Xinyuan Bubi sighed deeply and said helplessly, it's not that there isn't a way. It's just that it's for you. At this point, Xinyuan Bubi did not continue. However, the meaning behind his words was clear. Master, what is it? Longao was not a fool. How could he not understand his master's meaning? It was impossible that there was no way. It was just that his master was unwilling to say it. It seemed that this method had something to do with him. No matter what, I can't let anything happen to Sister Lin, even if something happens to me. He sighed deeply again. Xinyuan Bubi glared at the disciple in front of him. He was very satisfied with this disciple of his. It was also because of this that he was unwilling to let his disciple take the risk. However, he was well aware of his disciple's character. I'm not completely sure if this method can deal with the evil ancestor. Master, I won't say anything else. I just need to protect Sister Lin. Xinyuan Bubi nodded. Since things were already like this, there was no need to hide anything. He said, if you want to deal with the primal chaos seed in the little girl's body, you must first lure the evil ancestor out. However, you must remember that there are two dangers in doing so. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. The first danger is that once the evil ancestor appears, he will definitely go all out to devour you. With your current strength, you are simply unable to resist the evil ancestor's primal chaos seed. Do you understand? Understood. Master, please continue. How could Longao not know what his master meant? However, he had already thought about it. No matter what price he had to pay, he couldn't let anything happen to Sister Lin, even if it meant putting himself in danger. Xinyuan Bubi wasn't surprised at all. It was as if he had already guessed that his opponent would do this. The second danger is that once the evil ancestor leaves, he will only need 1/10 of a second to destroy the little girl easily. Longao wasn't worried about his own safety, but he couldn't ignore Sister Lin's safety. He knew very well what the evil ancestor's backlash meant. 1/10 of a second. Just thinking about it, he knew what it meant. Not to mention the current him. Even if he was at his peak, he might not be able to stop it. Perhaps only his master at his peak could do it. Master, how can I avoid it? This was the key. As long as he could protect Sister Lin's safety with all his might and not be devoured by the evil ancestor, he would have to deal with the evil ancestor in the future. I will protect the little girl's primordial spirit. As for the evil ancestor, Master, I have a way to deal with him. Was there really a way? Xinyuan Bubi knew that his disciple definitely had no way to deal with the evil ancestor. However, since things had already come to this, he didn't know what to do. This was the best way. If he let Longao do it himself, he knew what it would mean. He was helpless. Xinyuan Bubi knew that if he was at his peak, dealing with the seed of primordial spirit in the little girl's body wouldn't be difficult. Even if he couldn't destroy the evil ancestor completely, he believed that he could drive it away. However, it was almost impossible now. The only thing he could do was to protect the little girl's primordial spirit and prevent it from being devoured by the evil ancestor. Although his master had said that elder Sister Lin could still persevere for hundreds or even thousands of years, no one knew what would happen. The longer they delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for elder Sister Lin. After all, the slightest bit of carelessness could lead to her being consigned to eternal damnation. That was the reason. Longao didn't want to wait for even a minute. He told Sister Lin about his and his master's plan. Under such circumstances, there was no need to hide it. No matter what, this matter required Sister Lin's cooperation. Otherwise, it would be even more troublesome. Sister Lin, let's start now. Don't be afraid. With Master's help, your primordial spirit will be fine. Song Lin nodded. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't afraid. After all, the seed of primordial spirit in her body was left behind by a Tao-proving warrior. However, under such circumstances, Song Lin wasn't worried about herself. Instead, she was worried about Longao. Brother Long, tell me honestly, is it dangerous for you to do this? Song Lin had already thought it through. As long as her brother was in danger, she wouldn't let him help her even if she was devoured by the evil ancestor. How could Longao not know what Song Lin was thinking? The more it was so, the more he couldn't tell the truth. Instead, he smiled and said, Sister Lin, don't worry. I forgot to tell you that my master, Xinyuan Bubi, is also a Tao-proving warrior. With master's help, not only you, but even I won't be in any danger. Song Lin, who didn't believe it at first, heaved a sigh of relief when she heard the words Tao-proving warrior. Chapter 3283. A Tao-proving warrior was the strongest existence in the chaotic world. Song Lin had never expected that her brother's master was also a Tao-proving warrior. You must be careful. Nodding his head. At this moment, a ray of light appeared in Longao's body and entered Song Lin's body to protect her primordial spirit. As a Tao-proving warrior, Xinyuan Bubi naturally knew what to do. Longao stared deeply at Sister Lin in front of him. In the next second, he finally made his move. Longao did not dare to be careless. His primordial spirit entered Sister Lin's body, and he immediately saw the chaos seed in her dantian. Following his master's method, Longao began to trigger the chaos seed. As expected, Kid, get lost. If you provoke me, I'll take your life. Ha ha ha, you piece of trash. Ignoring the evil ancestor's anger, Longao continued to attack the chaos seed. According to his master, as long as the evil ancestor did not leave Sister Lin's body, he could borrow his master's power to temporarily seal the evil ancestor. But the result? The evil ancestor seemed to have guessed that this would be the result. Hence, when Longao attacked, he immediately chased after him. Kid, just as the evil ancestor was about to destroy Song Lin's primordial spirit, his face changed. He had never expected that Song Lin's primordial spirit would be protected by a Tao-proving warrior. Xinyuan Bubi? Sensing Xinyuan Bubi's aura, the evil ancestor's face was filled with shock. He would never have thought that he would meet an old friend at this moment. Xinyuan Bubi was not among the people who dealt with the evil ancestor. Evil ancestor, Longao is my disciple. I'll let it go this time. Haha, Xinyuan Bubi. Even if you were at your peak, you wouldn't be a match for me, let alone now. If I were to devour your primordial spirit, before the evil ancestor could finish his words, Xinyuan Bubi sneered, Evil ancestor, you should know that with your current situation, I could take you down with me anytime I want. His face was dark and as ugly as it could get. How could the evil ancestor not know what Xinyuan Bubi said? If he was at his peak, he would not be afraid of Xinyuan Bubi. But now, the situation was different. He felt helpless. Fine, for your sake, I'll let him go. However, you want to stop me from killing Longao? Just as he finished speaking, the evil ancestor's figure had already disappeared without a trace. He sighed deeply. Of course, Xinyuan Bubi knew that if the evil ancestor's primordial spirit was in Song Lin's body, he would still be able to achieve mutual destruction. As for whether he could succeed, that was still unknown. Once the evil ancestor left Song Lin's body, even he wouldn't be able to do it. There was nothing he could do about the aftermath. Longao's speed was extremely fast. After all, the evil ancestor's strength was there for all to see. The evil ancestor's primal chaos seed transformed into a stream of light, chasing after Longao at the fastest speed. The two people, one in front and one behind, their speed both soared to the extreme. What happened? Songya and the rest arrived at Song Lin's courtyard in the blink of an eye. As soon as they stepped in, Songhao asked impatiently, Liner, what happened? The three of them were very clear that with Longao's current strength, unless Evil Moon personally came, Even Mo Wutian and the rest wouldn't be able to chase after Longao. It was completely nonsense. Could it be Evil Moon? If it was really Evil Moon, then things would be troublesome. Looking at the entire Domain Lords Alliance, even Song, you couldn't suppress Evil Moon. After all, Evil Moon was a legendary existence. Song Lin didn't know why, but she felt that something was amiss. But when she thought of Long Ao's master, who was also a Dao-confirming martial artist, she heaved a sigh of relief. Not daring to hide anything, Song Lin roughly explained what had happened. As for the matter regarding Xianyuan Bubi, she concealed everything. Master, will Long Ao be all right? Yes. Hearing Xianyuan Bubi's words, Song Lin jumped in fright. She originally thought that her master would help Long Ao, but she never expected that Long Ao would really be in trouble. She didn't dare to continue. When she thought of Long Ao being destroyed by the evil ancestor because of her, she couldn't bear it anymore. Linner, what are you doing? Old ancestor, father, second uncle, the evil ancestor is a Dao-confirming martial artist. Although he's only a Dao-confirming martial artist, he's not someone Long Ao can contend against. I can't let anything happen to him because of me. I have to find him. Song Yi didn't give Song Lin a chance to escape. He directly enveloped Song Lin, suppressing her. Old ancestor, what are you doing? Let me go, I have to find Long Ao. Songya was a primal chaos reincarnation martial artist. It wasn't easy for Song Lin to break through the aura released by a primal chaos reincarnation martial artist. It was almost impossible. The more it was so, the more worried Song Lin was. Under such circumstances, the longer she delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for Long Ao. Songya and the other two were shocked. They never thought that Lin would obtain a primal chaos seed. This primal chaos seed wasn't completely destroyed and still had a primordial spirit. If they didn't hear it from Lin Er's mouth, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. The three of them knew very well what the primal chaos seed meant. Because of this, the three of them had their own plans. If they could obtain the primal chaos seed, then they would have a chance to succeed in Dao confirming. A Dao confirming martial artist was the true pinnacle of the martial Dao. Among the three of them, especially Tsangya, he wanted to obtain the evil ancestor's Dao-confirming seed. Although he had never heard of the evil ancestor, he knew very well that a Dao-confirming martial artist was an extremely powerful existence. Under normal circumstances, a Dao-confirming martial artist would only be able to condense a primal chaos seed if they had truly fallen. Sangya couldn't understand. Since the evil ancestor had already condensed a primal chaos seed, how could his primordial spirit still exist? He couldn't figure it out. If it were any other righteous martial artist, they definitely wouldn't be able to do it. Only the evil ancestor was able to use a secret technique to not only condense a primal chaos seed, but also preserve his primordial spirit so that he could use the primordial spirit of the primal chaos seed to devour. If he hadn't met Long Ao and Xianyuan Bubi, the evil ancestor would have been able to successfully be reborn after hundreds or even thousands of years. From this, one could imagine how terrifying and powerful the evil ancestor was. Lin you have to stay here. You should know what it means to be a Dao-confirming martial artist. You have to believe in Long Ao. He can definitely do it. Enough. I'm leaving. At this moment, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted from Tsang Lin's body, breaking through Tsang Ya's suppression. She was pleasantly surprised and immediately left at her fastest speed. Tsang Lin obviously knew that with her own strength, she wouldn't be able to break through the old ancestor's aura. This was all thanks to Long Ao's master. Chapter 3284. They were completely stunned. The faces of the three of them were absolutely astounded. Songya was a genuine chaos reincarnation martial artist. How could Song Lin break through the aura that he released? Song Lin was only at chaos life and death state. Just what was going on? Could there be a chaos reincarnation martial artist helping Song Lin? In the eyes of Songya and the other two, even if they were beaten to death, they would never have guessed that the person helping Lin was definitely not a Dao validation martial artist. This was a complete joke. Tao-confirming martial artists were not cabbages that could be found on the street. Old Master, just what is going on? There is a chaos reincarnation martial artist here whose strength is above mine. Ah? Hearing the words of the Old Master, both of them were completely stunned. Both of them naturally knew the meaning behind the words of the Old Master. To think that Longao would not only come alone this time around, he would even bring along a chaos reincarnation martial artist. Old Master, Longao is fighting against the evil ancestor's chaos seed. Before Longao could finish his words, Longao had already waved his hand. I don't know. If it were the evil ancestor at his peak, Longao would definitely not be his match. But right now, the evil ancestor was only a chaos seed. Whether or not he could successfully kill Longao was still an unknown. Longao and the evil ancestor's speed was raised to an extreme. Longao was shocked. To think that the evil ancestor's strength would be this horrifying even though he was just a chaos seed. There was no need for them to fight head-on. If he was at his peak, he might have a chance against the evil ancestor. But right now, that was something that was impossible. Lad, no matter where you go, I will tear you into pieces. The evil ancestor was truly enraged this time around. He had searched for countless of years and finally found the most suitable candidate in Songlin. And it was because of this person that she dared to spoil his plans. This was like pulling a tooth out of a tiger's mouth. Evil ancestor, let me give you a word of advice. Mind your own business. Otherwise, when you die, don't blame me. Ha! Ha ha! He laughed maniacally. The laughter of the evil ancestor was filled with endless mockery. You? The evil ancestor was very confident in his own strength. Dealing with a puny, chaotic, life and death realm expert was more than enough. 3,000 years ago, the evil ancestor definitely wouldn't dare to chase after Longao. However, things were different now. He had already recovered 1/10 of his strength, and dealing with a chaotic life and death expert was a simple matter. Also, if it were someone else, it would be fine, but the evil ancestor would definitely not go through so much trouble. Longao's situation was completely different. The evil ancestor discovered that Longao's situation was more suitable for him than Songlin's. If he could devour Longao, he would have a higher chance of being reborn and regaining his peak strength. It was precisely because of this. The evil ancestor chased after Longao relentlessly. If it wasn't for the existence of the Chaos Seed, he would have caught up to Longao long ago. This situation was very unfavorable for Longao. If this continued, who knew what would happen? The longer it dragged on, the more unfavorable it would be for him. What should he do? Longao would not casually step into his chaotic Dantian. That was because he did not know if the evil ancestor would lock onto his chaotic Dantian. There was no need to elaborate on the strength of a Tao-proving realm expert. One could never be too careful. If the evil ancestor could lock onto his Dantian, one could imagine what it would mean. Ha! Lad, your evil ancestor shall see where you can run to today. Longao did not reply. In his mind, he was thinking of all sorts of ways to deal with the evil ancestor. Should he make use of Evil Moon? Longao was clear that in the entire Chaos world, there were definitely a few Tao-proving realm experts. Other than his master and the evil ancestor who had already fallen, it was almost impossible to find any other Tao-proving realm experts. Apart from Tao-proving realm experts, only experts at the level of Evil Moon could deal with the evil ancestor. Other than that, even Mo Wutian and the others would not be a match for the evil ancestor. Longao did not immediately make a move because he did not want Evil Moon to take advantage of him. Longao was very clear that once Evil Moon devoured the evil ancestor's chaotic seed, as long as he could completely integrate and refine it, it would be very easy for Evil Moon to succeed in his Tao-proving realm. Longao was very clear about what it would mean if Evil Moon succeeded in his Tao-proving realm. Longao did not know whether to do so or not. For a moment, he did not know what to do. He was helpless. Soul Break Valley? In his mind, Longao suddenly thought of Soul Break Valley. He rushed to Soul Break Valley as fast as he could. Previously, Soul Break Valley could take him away without anyone noticing. Even Evil Moon could not lock onto him. Under such circumstances, only Soul Break Valley could help him escape. According to Master, as long as the evil ancestor left Sister Lin's body, the evil ancestor would be afraid of Master and would not look for the evil ancestor again. Thinking of this, Longao did not continue to hesitate. In just a few hours, Longao had already arrived at Soul Break Valley, and Evil Moon had already left. Ha ha ha! You're courting death. The evil ancestor's aura had already enveloped the entire Soul Break Valley in an instant. He found that Soul Break Valley was an independent sealed space. It was almost impossible for Longao to leave under such circumstances. It was like catching a turtle in a jar. Longao was doomed this time. At the thought of being able to devour Longao, the evil ancestor was pleasantly surprised. He excitedly sped up. In the blink of an eye, Longao, who was still enveloped by his aura, suddenly disappeared without a trace. What's going on? The evil ancestor was completely dumbfounded. He began to attack the entire Soul Break Valley frantically. Although Longao had disappeared without a trace, the evil ancestor was almost certain that Longao was definitely still in the Soul Break Valley. He just did not know how Longao did it. He actually managed to avoid being enveloped by his aura. Inside the cave, looking at Longao in front of him, Duan Han asked curiously, "Brother Long, what's going on?" This was Soul Break Valley, Duan Han's territory. Therefore, he could take away Longao without anyone noticing. Even the evil ancestor could not find out. If it was in other places, even Duan Han would not be able to do this. There was no doubt about it. Longao had already treated Duan Han as a friend. Hence, he did not hide anything from him. He told Duan Han about what had happened previously. As for his master, he did not mention anything about Xianyuan Bubi. After listening, Duan Han's face completely changed. Of course, he knew what Longao had just said. The seed of chaos. It was actually the seed of chaos. Chapter 32:85. Tao-proving seeds were something that could only be chanced upon and not sought after for chaos martial artists. This was especially the case for chaos martial artists. If they could successfully devour a single chaos seed, they would be able to prove their Tao. Duan Han was pleasantly surprised. He had wanted to prove his Tao for many years now. It was easy to think about, but it was extremely difficult to do so. To him, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How could Longao not know what Duan Han was trying to say? He was exasperated. Duan Han, let me give you a word of advice. Given the current strength of the evil ancestor, we are no match for him. Even Evil Moon might not stand a chance. Nodding his head, naturally, Duan Han knew what Longao was trying to say. Thinking for a moment, he continued, "Brother Long, you should know what the Chaos Seed means. If we can destroy the evil ancestor and devour the Chaos Seed, we will have a high chance of proving our Tao. If that was the case, Longao would definitely not show any mercy. How do you intend to do it?" This was the Soul Break Valley after all, the territory of Duan Han. Just because he had no idea, it did not mean that Duan Han had no idea either. If he could destroy the evil ancestor and devour the Chaos Seed, that would be a pretty good thing. "Brother Long, I have no idea at the moment, but I am prepared to give it a try." Duan Han's intention was clear. He wanted to fight head on. Soul Break Valley, 9 heavens, the essence spirit of the evil ancestor, which was formed by the Chaos Seed, was attacking the Soul Break Valley wildly. But even so, it could not lock onto Longao's location. Could Longao have already left? Impossible. The evil ancestor was extremely confident in his ability to lock onto Longao's aura. And because of that, he was almost certain that Longao must not have left this valley. And just at this moment, boom, boom, under the continuous attacks, the evil ancestor was forced to retreat continuously. Glaring at the two figures that had suddenly appeared before him, he was smiling instead of being angry. If Longao had been hiding in the shadows, it would have been a huge problem for him. But now, the situation was different. Long Ao, do you think that you can escape this time around? Long Ao laughed coldly. But at this moment, Duan Hun spoke up. Evil ancestor, you've already fallen. There's no way for you to be reborn. But if you can help us, before Duan Hun could finish his words, the evil ancestor laughed crazily and said, You think you can do that? Who do you think you are? Duan Hun and Long Ao's strength was placed there. The evil ancestor did not place the two people in his eyes at all. Whether or not I'm qualified, we'll only know after we fight. She couldn't even wait a second longer. In the next second, Duan Hun and Long Ao's figures took advantage of the opportunity to rush out. One on the left and one on the right, they began to frantically attack the evil ancestor. The two of them had already thought it through. Although dealing with the evil ancestor would be dangerous, under the danger, there was a huge opportunity. Once they succeeded in killing the evil ancestor and devouring the primal chaos seed left behind by the evil ancestor, the two of them would have a chance of validating their Tao. The two of them naturally knew what Tao affirmation meant. It was still the same sentence. If it was 3,000 years ago, the two of them would have been able to destroy the evil ancestor in a matter of minutes if they joined forces. However, the evil ancestor was no longer the same as before. Even if the two of them joined forces to fight the evil ancestor, they were slowly being forced back after a few dozen moves. What kind of concept was that? The two of them didn't expect the evil ancestor to be so powerful. If this continued, not to mention destroying the evil ancestor, it was unknown if they could even leave this place alive. Brother Long, go all out. Hearing Duan Hun's words, Long Ao was depressed to the extreme. From the beginning of the attack, he had already used all his strength. Even his strongest attack couldn't completely destroy the evil ancestor. Seeing that Long Ao didn't speak and his face was getting paler, Duan Hun already knew that Long Ao had probably used all his strength. Thinking of this, he didn't continue to hesitate and began to use his strongest killing move. If it was any other method, Duan Hun definitely wouldn't have any way. However, the Soul Break Valley had given him an opportunity. Brother Long, I'm going to borrow the power of the Soul Break Valley to deal with the evil ancestor. I'll help you with all my strength. He wasn't surprised because Long Ao had already guessed that Duan Hun must have his own secret. The Soul Break Valley was Duan Hun's biggest reliance. Otherwise, even the evil ancestor and evil moon wouldn't be able to lock onto their location. However, Long Ao couldn't figure out how Duan Hun was going to deal with the evil ancestor. Right at this moment, the entire Soul Break Valley began to gather countless auras with Duan Hun as the center. This was Duan Hun's killing move. However, Duan Hun was very clear that after this incident, the Soul Break Valley would be completely destroyed. In other words, he could only use his killing move once. If it wasn't for the chaos seed of the evil ancestor, Duan Hun wouldn't have used the power of the Soul Break Valley. However, for the chaos seed, it was worth it. The evil ancestor's face instantly changed. Of course, he could clearly sense how terrifying the aura gathered in the valley was. He couldn't figure out how a puny chaos reincarnation realm martial artist could make him feel fear and even destroy him. He definitely couldn't allow himself to be destroyed. Chapter 3286. Duan Hun was completely dumbfounded. He never thought that the evil ancestor could erode Long Ao. But it was too late to regret. He was helpless. Forcefully using the power of the Soul Break Valley meant that he had lost his strongest trump card. If he wanted to continue using it, who knew how many years it would take? Under such circumstances, it was impossible for him to stop even if he wanted to. He could only watch as his strongest killing move was lost. But at this moment, Duan Hun didn't have the heart to feel heartache. He rushed out of the Soul Break Valley as fast as he could. The evil ancestor had eroded Long Ao. If there were no accidents, Long Ao should be right now. He didn't dare to imagine. Just as Long Ao had guessed. Although Duan Hun was both good and evil, he was a friend worth befriending. But before Duan Hun could take action, Long Ao had already returned. In the blink of an eye, Brother Long, are you okay? At this moment, Longao's face was gloomy and as ugly as it could get. Duan Han, the evil ancestor, has already eroded my body. I have to find a place to fight with him. Come with me quickly. Without waiting for Longao to finish his words, Duan Han had already brought Longao back to the cave. Of course, Duan Han knew that Longao's situation was very bad. It could be said that if he wasn't careful, Longao would fall into a state of eternal damnation. You deal with the evil ancestor with all your strength. I will protect you. All right. Longao didn't enter his chaotic dantian because he didn't know what would happen if he dealt with the evil ancestor. If his chaotic dantian collapsed, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. It was because of this that Longao was prepared to fight the evil ancestor in his own body in the Soul Break Valley. As for Duan Han, Longao truly treated Duan Han as a friend. Otherwise, he wouldn't have fought the evil ancestor to the death here. He knew better than anyone what it meant. This was the crucial moment. If Duan Han were to launch a sneak attack at this moment, Longao would definitely die. Duan Han was very grateful for Longao's trust. Duan Han's character was very simple. It could be said that he didn't have many true friends in his life. However, once he became a friend of his, then he could use life and death to decide. Not daring to hesitate in the slightest, Longao immediately sat down on the ground and started fighting with the evil ancestor. Inside Longao's body, the evil ancestor's primordial spirit entered Longao's body and began to attack Longao's primordial spirit. In his opinion, Longao's body and primordial spirit were too suitable for him. The evil ancestor was confident that if he were to consume it now, he would be able to regain his Tao and become one of the top existences in the primal chaos realm. The evil ancestor did not place a person who had not even broken through the primal chaos reincarnation realm in his eyes. If he chose to give up so easily, it would be too late for regrets. In the next second, Longao's primordial spirit had already started to counterattack. The two primordial spirits were very intense. Although Longao's strength was not to be underestimated, he was still in the primal chaos life and death realm. On the other hand, the evil ancestor was a genuine Tao affirmation warrior. The strength of his primordial spirit was far from what Longao could compare to. It was almost impossible to rely on Longao's strength to resist the evil ancestor's devouring. Moreover, Xinyuan Bubi's primordial spirit was not present. Before dealing with the evil ancestor, Longao had already thought that no matter what happened, he couldn't let anything happen to Sister Lin. Therefore, his master had to protect Sister Lin's primordial spirit. As long as his master was around, the evil ancestor would not dare to continue devouring Sister Lin's primordial spirit. There was no doubt about that. But now, the situation was different. Longao had his own trump card. Other than the 7 types of heavenly flames trapped in the primal chaos refining tower, he could mobilize the other 16 types of heavenly flames. But until now, he was still unable to use the power of the primal chaos flame. Just the 15 types of heavenly flames were already very terrifying. After all, heavenly flames were the nemesis of primordial spirits. Even the evil ancestor was no exception. Especially since the evil ancestor cultivated the Tao of evil. Heavenly flames were the nemesis of the evil ancestor. Being besieged by the sudden appearance of 15 types of heavenly flames, the evil ancestor was shocked to the extreme. Of course, he knew what 15 types of heavenly flames meant. In the primal chaos realm, there were a total of 23 types of heavenly flames. Each type of heavenly flame was an incomparably heaven-defying existence. And there was a legend in the primal chaos realm that Tao affirmation warriors were unable to obtain heavenly flames. As for the reason, no one knew. As for others, not to mention obtaining 15 types of heavenly flames at the same time. Even obtaining one type of heavenly flame was an existence with heaven-defying luck. It was precisely because of this. Looking at the 15 types of heavenly flames that appeared around him, the evil ancestor's face was very gloomy. He never thought that Longao would be able to obtain 15 types of heavenly flames. Not to mention how Longao subdued these heavenly flames. Just this luck alone was enough to disdain the entire primal chaos realm. If he encountered other types of heavenly flames, the evil ancestor would not put them in his eyes at all. As long as he did not encounter a Tao affirmation warrior, he was confident that no one would be his opponent. But the situation with heavenly flames was completely different. After all, heavenly flames were the nemesis of primordial spirits. If it was an ordinary flame, it wouldn't be a big deal. Even if it was a strange flame, even if it was one type of strange flame, or even 2 or 3 types of strange flame, it would be fine. But now, there were a total of 15 types of strange flame. Longao looked at the heavenly flames around him, being able to temporarily force the evil ancestor to retreat. He also let out a long sigh of relief. Even he did not have any confidence to contend against the evil ancestor. Fortunately, there were 15 types of heavenly flames to help him. Longao, let me give you a piece of advice. It's best that you don't make any unnecessary resistance. Otherwise, after I devour your primordial spirit to be reborn, I will slaughter everyone who is related to you. If it was someone else, they might be afraid of this threat, but the evil ancestor was facing Longao. He just snorted coldly, looked at the evil ancestor's primordial spirit in front of him, and said coldly, "Evil ancestor, I also advise you to leave now and stay away from my family. If you do, I will not pursue this matter. Otherwise, I will make your primordial spirit vanish." Longao was not willing to fight to the death with the evil ancestor. After all, the evil ancestor's strength was there. Although he had the help of 15 types of heavenly flames, the current situation of the 15 types of heavenly flames was very troublesome. Whether they could kill the evil ancestor was still unknown. If he was unlucky, he would be devoured by the evil ancestor instead. "Aha, with just you?" The evil ancestor laughed crazily. His laughter was filled with endless ridicule. Hearing the other party's words, the evil ancestor seemed to have heard the funniest thing in the world. Longao did not speak. He was still staring coldly. As long as the evil ancestor attacked, he would not hesitate to attack. Chapter 32:87. Looking at the 15 heavenly flames around him, the evil ancestor's face turned gloomy. Under such circumstances, even the evil ancestor didn't dare to casually make a move. If something went wrong, forget about devouring Longao's primordial spirit. It was unknown if he could leave alive. He felt helpless. From the beginning to the end, the evil ancestor didn't put the other party in his eyes. But now, because of the 15 heavenly flames, he didn't dare to make a move rashly. Both sides were in a stalemate. "Are you afraid?" Hearing Longao's words, the evil ancestor's face turned ugly. Provocation. A blatant provocation. However, under such provocation, even the evil ancestor couldn't do anything. Even if he wanted to leave now, it wouldn't be easy. Who knew if Longao would be ambushed by Longao? "Longao, our grudges are written off. I don't want Song Lin. How about it?" He stared at the 15 heavenly flames around him. In the end, the evil ancestor still chose to compromise because he knew very well that even if he could win this time, it would be a partial victory and he might even lose his life. It wasn't worth it. There were countless people in the chaotic realm. There was no need to take the risk at this time. As for dealing with Longao, it didn't mean that it wouldn't work in the future. If he could be reborn and succeed in validating his Tao, dealing with Longao would be a piece of cake. How could Longao not know the evil ancestor's intention? Letting the tiger return to the mountain would cause endless trouble. In the beginning, he didn't want to fight to the death with the evil ancestor. But now he changed his mind. If the evil ancestor was really reborn and succeeded in validating his Tao, the consequences would be unimaginable. Only by cutting the weeds and eliminating the roots could he prevent future troubles. The evil ancestor wasn't a fool. How could he not know Longao's intention? He instantly flew into a rage and stared at Longao in front of him. He said angrily, "Longao, don't think that you can fight against this evil ancestor just because you have 15 heavenly flames. Today, I will let you see how big the gap between chaotic reincarnation and Tao validation is." Just as he finished speaking, a terrifying aura suddenly erupted from the evil ancestor's body. It seemed like the evil ancestor was going to go all out. With the chaos tree protecting his essence soul, Longao was not afraid of dying at all. If the evil ancestor was at his peak, he might be able to do it. But now it was almost impossible. He sneered. Without waiting for Longao to speak, the 15 deviant fires had already taken the initiative to attack the evil ancestor. A great battle was about to break out. In the blink of an eye, the 15 types of heavenly flames began to collide with the evil ancestor. Heavenly flames were the nemesis of the evil ancestor. Especially when the 15 types of heavenly flames joined forces, they were actually able to withstand the evil ancestor's attack. This was the reason why they were nemeses. If the evil ancestor had been Evil Moon instead, even if Evil Moon's strength wasn't as strong as the evil ancestors, the 15 mystical flames wouldn't have been able to withstand Evil Moon's attack. However, once the mystical flames recovered to their peak, even if a few mystical flames joined forces, they wouldn't have been a match for a primal chaos, samsara martialist. The evil ancestor was very sullen. He could neither advance nor retreat. He was in a dilemma. On a mountain peak far away from the Soul Break Valley, Song Lin asked worriedly, "Senior, I wonder how Brother Long is now." Ever since she knew the truth, Song Lin was constantly worried. She finally knew that it was all because of her, that Brother Long had to face the seed of primal chaos without hesitation. That was a martialist that had proven his Tao. His strength represented everything. What if something happened to Brother Long? Song Lin didn't dare to continue thinking about it, because she didn't dare to imagine what she would do if something happened to Brother Long. However, there was one thing that she was sure of. If anything happened to Brother Long, she wouldn't be able to live alone. Xianyuan Bubi sighed deeply. There was no need to say more about the evil ancestor's strength. He said helplessly, "Ao only has a 50% chance of winning. However, you don't have to worry too much. Ao has the help of the 15 types of heavenly flames. It's impossible for the evil ancestor to devour Ao's primordial spirit." When Xianyuan Bubi knew that Longao had subdued 16 types of heavenly flames, he was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Among them, there was even the primal chaos flame that was ranked first. Of course, he knew what it meant. Not only that, others might not know, but how could he not know? His disciple's luck wasn't ordinary. Not only did he obtain 16 types of heavenly flames, but he also obtained the remaining 7 types. Although the 7 types of heavenly flames were sealed in the primal chaos refining pagoda, they would definitely be subdued by Ao once he opened the primal chaos refining pagoda. What kind of concept was that? At that time, Ao would be the first person to obtain all 23 types of heavenly flames. As for what would happen, no one knew. "Master, how should we help Brother Long now?" Helping was an extravagant hope because they couldn't even lock onto the location of Brother Long and the evil ancestor. How could they help? Xianyuan Bubi shook his head helplessly and said, "If you really want Ao's good, then you don't have to do anything now." How could Song Lin not know what Xianyuan Bubi meant? Although she was now a chaotic life and death martialist, she couldn't interfere in a battle of this level. If she forcefully helped, not only would she not help Brother Long, she might even drag him down. She was helpless. Everything was because of her. She felt guilty and blamed herself. If she hadn't merged with the primal chaos seed, nothing would have happened. However, how many people in the entire chaotic world could resist the temptation of the primal chaos seed? It was complete nonsense. No matter how worried Song Lin was, since Xianyuan Bubi had said so, she could only suppress her worry. No matter what, she couldn't drag Brother Long down. Xianyuan Bubi had already left Song Lin's body and was looking at the endless void in the distance. He had already decided that if something really happened to Ao, he would perish together with the evil ancestor, even if he had to fight to the death. The remnant soul of a Tao confirming martialist was extremely terrifying, especially when some Tao confirming martialists had heaven-defying secret techniques. For example, the evil ancestor. If it weren't for the secret technique, how could he have preserved his soul while condensing the primal chaos seed? This was simply impossible for other Tao confirming martialists. Even Xinyuan Bubi's soul had already disappeared when he condensed the primal chaos seed. However, because of the primal chaos tree, Xinyuan Bubi had managed to preserve a trace of his soul. In the end, it was luck. If Xinyuan Bubi hadn't met Longao, how could he have preserved his soul? Chapter 3288. Longao and the evil ancestor were in a stalemate, neither of them able to do anything to the other. The most frustrated one was the evil ancestor. He did not care about Longao at all. But right now, he could not do anything to the other party at all. He was helpless. However, the evil ancestor heaved a sigh of relief instead. If this were to carry on, it would be beneficial for him. As long as the other party could not do anything to him, he believed that the other party would not stop him from leaving. As though he could guess the thoughts of the evil ancestor, Longao said coldly, "Evil ancestor, do you think that you can still leave this place? With just you?" The evil ancestor's face was filled with mockery. How could a mere chaotic life and death martial artist injure him? That was bullsh*t. The evil ancestor was clear in his heart. If the other party did not have 15 types of strange flames, that would be the key. If not, it would be an easy task for him to devour the other party. He could do it in a matter of minutes. Whether or not I have the rights, you'll find out soon enough. What did that mean? Looking at Longao before him, the evil ancestor did not know why, but his heart skipped a beat. Could the other party truly have something to rely on? If that were the case, it was better to be safe than sorry. If the other party truly had a way to deal with him, he would not even have the chance to regret it. However, the evil ancestor still did not believe that the other party could destroy him. Unless it was a Tao-proving martial artist who came personally, or if it was the power gathered in the valley earlier on. How else could the other party do it? With just 15 types of strange flames? It was completely impossible. Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! At the thought of this, the evil ancestor burst out laughing maniacally. His laughter was filled with endless mockery and disdain. In the next second, a ball of flame appeared in Longao's hands. It was a pure black flame that gave off an extremely horrifying aura. Sensing the strong aura of the strange flames in Longao's hands, the evil ancestor was stunned, his face filled with disbelief. Yet another strange flame? To think that Longao would have more than 15 types of strange flames. The evil ancestor had not expected that the other party would have a 16th type of strange flame. This sort of luck was way too heaven-defying. If the evil ancestor were to know that not only did Longao have 16 types of strange flames, he even had the Chaos Flame, Smelting Flame Tower with 7 other types of strange flames, what kind of concept was that? Of course, the evil ancestor knew that one of the 15 heavenly flames that Longao had just obtained was ranked second among the 23 heavenly flames. But now, the evil ancestor could clearly sense that the new heavenly flame in Longao's hand was far stronger than the other heavenly flames. His face was filled with disbelief. Could it be? The evil ancestor seemed to have thought of something. If the aura was above the second type of heavenly flame, then the heavenly flame in Longao's hand should be the legendary heavenly flame that was ranked first among the 23 types of heavenly flames, the primal chaos flame. He cursed in his heart. Longao's luck was simply too good. Not only did he obtain 16 types of mystical flames, but he also obtained the primal chaos flame, which was ranked first among them. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. The flame of primordial chaos was a legendary existence. If he was at his peak, he wouldn't be afraid of the flame of primordial chaos. But now, the situation was completely different. After all, the heavenly flame was the nemesis of the primordial spirit, not to mention the flame of primordial chaos, which was ranked first. What should he do? The evil ancestor finally knew why Longao was so confident. It turned out that he was relying on the flame of primordial chaos in his hand. Taking a deep breath, the evil ancestor stared at Longao and said coldly, "Longao, your Songlin is fine. There is no need to fight to the death between us. I will leave now. From today onwards, I will not seek revenge from you or your family." How about that? What did the evil ancestor mean? Obviously, he had chosen to compromise. After all, not only did the other party have 15 types of mystical flames, he also had the flame of primordial chaos, which was ranked first. If he wasn't careful, he would be devoured by the mystical flame. At that time, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret. Ah, are you afraid? Longao obviously knew that the flame of primordial chaos that he had now was unable to truly destroy the evil ancestor. It was just to scare the evil ancestor. If he could control the flame of primordial chaos, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. It was easy to think about, but it was easier said than done to truly control it. Longao, don't go too far. I'm going too far? Evil ancestor, have you lost your mind? You were the one who chose Songlin. I warned you before not to touch Sister Lin. How did you do it? Now that you're afraid, do you think we could just forget about it? Then what do you want? The more Lin Fan acted like this, the less confident the evil ancestor felt because the flame of primordial chaos in Lin Fan's hand was too terrifying. Even if he could destroy Lin Fan in the end, he would probably be destroyed by the mystical flame. He absolutely did not want to see such a situation where both sides suffered. The only way was to leave this place as soon as possible. It's very simple. As long as you agree to 3 of my conditions, I will let you go. How about it? Tell me. The evil ancestor's face was as ugly as it could be because he knew very well that the 3 conditions that Longao had proposed would definitely be very difficult to fulfill. However, since things had already come to this, even if the evil ancestor was extremely unwilling, he could only listen to the other party's conditions first. In fact, the evil ancestor knew very well that even if Lin Fan had the flame of primordial chaos, due to the absolute gap between their realms, it was impossible to be absolutely safe. Even so, unless it was absolutely necessary, he still did not want to die together with Lin Fan. He was porcelain while Lin Fan was trash. Lin Fan definitely did not fear him, but his situation was different. He had cultivated for countless years and finally reached the Tao-confirming realm. If he chose to give up so easily, he was really unwilling. The first condition: you just said that if I let you go, you must swear a Tao-confirming oath that you will not trouble me or my family in the future. He breathed a sigh of relief, but he was still furious. Let him go? If it wasn't for the flame of primordial chaos in Lin Fan's hand, he would have already devoured him. However, he suppressed the anger in his heart and said, "No problem. I can promise you." Once a Tao-confirming oath was made, even a Tao-confirming cultivator could not change it. However, in the evil ancestor's opinion, he did not care about the life and death of Longao and his family. As long as he could find a suitable physique, he would be reborn and restore his Tao-confirming realm strength. That was what he wanted to do. It was precisely because of this that the evil ancestor agreed without even thinking about it. The second condition: you must protect my sect for 10,000 years. You're going too far. Chapter 3289. For the evil ancestor, this was an utter humiliation. As a mighty martial artist who had verified his Tao, even if he was an essence spirit being, he could not accept such humiliation. Protect him for 10,000 years. Time meant nothing to him. It was just that he could not afford to lose this person. The face of the evil ancestor was extremely grim right now, looking as terrible as it could get. Even though he had already guessed that Longao would definitely make an outrageous request, he had not expected that Longao would make such an outrageous request. What should he do? Should he strike out forcefully? Even if he could kill Longao. So what? The evil ancestor would definitely not want to be involved in something that would cost him 1,000 lives. He bore with the rage in his heart. Before Longao could reply, The evil ancestor spoke up. State your third condition. The evil ancestor wanted to know what Longao's third condition was as well. If the second condition was already so outrageous, the third condition would definitely be even more outrageous than the second one. Longao chuckled out. He could not care less about the thoughts of the evil ancestor. Evil ancestor, my third condition is simple. Your essence spirit can leave, but the chaos seed has to stay. You're courting death. Not to mention the first and second conditions. Just the third condition alone was something that he could not agree to. That was *T. The evil ancestor knew clearly what it meant to hand over the chaos seed. If he were to hand over the chaos seed, even if he could find a suitable body to be reborn in the future, he would not be able to verify his Tao successfully. After all, losing the chaos seed meant that he had already given up on the chance to verify his Tao. Giving up on his Tao and giving up on the chaos seed? Was that something that could happen? Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha ha! All of a sudden, the evil ancestor burst out laughing maniacally. Initially, he had already chosen to compromise. After all, there was no way he could just die together with the other party. But right now, even if he wanted to compromise, the other party would not let him off so easily. If he had not witnessed this for himself, he would not have believed it. To think that someone would dare to go against an essence spirit who had verified his Tao. Courting death. Evil ancestor, let me give you a word of advice. You only have a single chance. If you miss it, the only thing that awaits you is to be devoured by the deviant flame. The evil ancestor, who was prepared to strike, forcefully suppressed his rage and killing intent the moment he heard the words deviant flame. How could they not fear heavenly flames? Moreover, among the 16 types of heavenly flames, there was actually the primal chaos flame that was ranked first. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Was he going to compromise just like that? He was very unwilling to accept this. Of the 3 conditions, other than the first one, the other 2 were impossible to agree to. Longao. Without waiting for the evil ancestor to speak, Longao had already guessed the evil ancestor's intention. He sneered and said coldly, "Evil ancestor, you must agree to all 3 conditions. Otherwise, even if I have to suffer serious injuries, I will destroy you." Longao was exaggerating a bit. Even if he had 16 types of deviant flames, he would still lose his life if he wanted to destroy the evil ancestor. But since things had already come to this, he had no other choice. Letting the tiger return to the mountain would only lead to endless trouble. Longao, that's enough. You don't have to bluff here. If you had full confidence in destroying me, you wouldn't be here to talk about conditions with me. Longao's heart skipped a beat, but he still maintained a calm expression. He sneered and said, "Evil ancestor, as a Tao affirmation cultivator, I wonder if you have heard of the Cloud Ancestor." Cloud Ancestor? Ordinary cultivators definitely wouldn't recognize the Cloud Ancestor, but that didn't mean that the evil ancestor didn't know him. Not only did he know him, but he was also an old friend. It was precisely because of this that the evil ancestor couldn't figure out why Longao would mention the Cloud Ancestor for no reason. Could it be that Longao knew the Cloud Ancestor? It was a nonsensical thing. Evil ancestor, if I bring you to Cloud Valley and the Cloud Ancestor discovers your primordial spirit, I wonder what will happen to you. Longao smiled, but didn't say anything. Suddenly, an idea popped up in his mind. It was the Cloud Ancestor of Cloud Valley. He couldn't destroy the evil ancestor, but that didn't mean that other Tao affirmation cultivators couldn't. After all, the Cloud Ancestor was a genuine Tao affirmation cultivator. Not to mention the current evil ancestor, who was just a primordial spirit existence. Even if the evil ancestor was at his peak, he might not be able to defeat the Cloud Ancestor. Longao wasn't willing to do this unless it was absolutely necessary. After all, the chaos seed of the evil ancestor was there. Once it was devoured, then whether it was him or the person who devoured the chaos seed, it was very likely that they would succeed in Tao affirmation and become a powerful Tao affirmation cultivator. Longao had already thought about it. If it really came down to it, then even if he had to give up the chaos seed of the evil ancestor, he would still bring the evil ancestor to Cloud Valley. When the time came, the cloud ancestor would deal with the evil ancestor. The evil ancestor wasn't sure if what Longao said was true or false. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. If Longao really knew the cloud ancestor and his whereabouts were discovered by the cloud ancestor, then the consequences would be obvious. Evil ancestor, if you don't believe me, I can take you to Cloud Valley now. Of course, the evil ancestor knew that Cloud Valley was the cultivation ground of the cloud ancestor. Not only him, but probably everyone in the entire chaotic realm knew about it. Because of this, the evil ancestor believed Longao's words. The evil ancestor was really afraid of the heavenly flame and the deterrence of the cloud ancestor. He stared at Longao and finally chose to compromise. He said, "Longao, I can't agree to the third condition," but he didn't give the evil ancestor any chance to continue. Longao, of course, could guess what the evil ancestor was thinking. He sneered and said coldly, "Evil ancestor, I have given you 3 conditions, not one less. I have given you a chance, you must grasp it." Longao finally heaved a sigh of relief. Because of the deterrence of the cloud ancestor, the evil ancestor was really afraid. However, after thinking about it, he believed that not to mention the cloud ancestor, any random Tao vindication cultivator would be able to intimidate the evil ancestor. After all, with the strength of a Tao vindication cultivator, they could easily destroy the evil ancestor's primordial spirit, including the chaos seed. If a Tao vindication cultivator could devour the evil ancestor's primordial spirit, then everyone knew what it meant. The evil ancestor didn't say anything more. His expression changed again and again. In this situation, there were only 2 paths to take. One was to perish together with the other party, and the other was to compromise. Once he chose to agree, not only would he lose face, but he would also lose the chaos seed. At that time, even if he was reborn, he wouldn't be able to reach Tao vindication. Longao didn't urge him. If the evil ancestor could really agree to his 3 conditions, then the evil ancestor's primordial spirit would no longer be a threat to him. For him, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Chapter 3290. The evil ancestor's face grew darker and darker. To him, this was simply a humiliation, an enormous humiliation. Just as Longao was waiting for the evil ancestor to speak, the situation suddenly changed. The evil ancestor's face suddenly turned cold, and he began to attack Longao crazily. He could almost say that although Longao had grasped the number 1 primal chaos flame, he had not truly grasped it. If Longao had truly grasped the primal chaos flame, why would he talk nonsense with him? As for the cloud ancestor, it would be a lie to say that he was not afraid of the cloud ancestor. However, the evil ancestor knew that as long as he could end the battle quickly and kill Longao in the shortest time, Longao would not have the chance to step into Cloud Valley. It was precisely because of this. The evil ancestor was finally prepared to take the risk. But in the end, the evil ancestor was still full of confidence. If Longao was not a chaotic life and death cultivator, but a chaotic reincarnation cultivator, then it would be a different concept. There was not the slightest bit of surprise. Longao seemed to have guessed that the evil ancestor would be like this. He sneered, and without saying anything, the 15 types of strange flames began to attack wildly. As for the primal chaos flame, it was not that Longao did not want to use it to deal with the evil ancestor, but he was powerless, just as the evil ancestor had guessed. The current Longao was unable to truly grasp the primal chaos flame, which was also what Longao felt the most helpless about. Otherwise, he would not have wasted words with the evil ancestor and directly used the primal chaos flame to deal with the evil ancestor. According to the Heaven You Devil Flame, among the 23 types of strange flames in the chaos realm, the number 1 primal chaos flame was the most terrifying. Even if the 22 types of strange flames were added together, they would not be a match for the primal chaos flame. What kind of concept was this? Just as the evil ancestor was crazily attacking Longao, and the 15 types of strange flames began to retreat. The 9 Chaos Divine Beasts were the 9-headed Snakelet Divine Beast, the Zhuin Divine Beast, the Pishio Divine Beast, the Chunyo Divine Beast, the Swanee Divine Beast, the Sky-Splitting Divine Beast, the Golden Eye Divine Beast, the 9-headed Dragon Python, the Taotai Divine Beast, and the Sky-Devouring Divine Beast. The Chaos Divine Beast diagram released a terrifying power, and with the 9 great Chaos Divine Beasts joining forces, one could imagine its power. Even the evil ancestor jumped in fright. The evil ancestor seemed to have thought of something as he felt the Chaos Divine Beast diagram and the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts' terrifying power. Chaos Divine Beast diagram? 9 Chaos Divine Beasts? Whether it was the Chaos Divine Beast diagram or the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts, they were treasures that could only be found by chance. The evil ancestor couldn't figure it out. How did Longao do it? This kind of luck was a little too heaven-defying. Putting aside the Chaos Spiritual Beast drawing, not everyone could gather the 9 Chaos Spiritual Beasts. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. Feeling the terrifying power enveloping him, the evil ancestor did not dare to rashly meet force with force. He could only continue to retreat. But what was the result? Longao returned and closed in on the evil ancestor step by step, as if he was prepared to completely destroy him. Courting death, the evil ancestor was completely enraged. He had never imagined that his opponent would choose to take the initiative to attack. His nascent divinity fused with the chaos seed and unleashed the might of a Tao corroboration expert. It began to clash with the power released by Longao. Boom! 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 Thankfully, Longao's body had already fused with his chaos dantian. Otherwise, his body would definitely not be able to take this collision alone. At the thought of this, even Longao could not help but feel a lingering fear. This wasn't the way to go on. Huh, Longao, your luck is pretty good indeed. But you can't gather the 10 Chaos Divine Beasts. Good. The evil ancestor's face was filled with endless greed. Be it the Chaos Divine Beast diagram, the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts, or the 16 Deviant Flames, they were all utmost treasures of the world. If he could get his hands on all of them, once he reincarnated and succeeded in his Tao corroboration, these utmost treasures would be like adding wings to a tiger. How could he not be greedy? The evil ancestor knew that even though Longao possessed these utmost treasures, he could not truly control them. With that, his chances of killing the other party would be much higher. He did not hesitate any longer. Since he was going to kill the other party anyway, he could not afford to delay any longer. After all, under such circumstances, the longer he dragged things out, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. He was not afraid of Longao. Rather, he was wary of the Cloud Ancestor. If Longao were to really bring him into Cloud Valley, he could imagine what that would mean. He must definitely not enter Cloud Valley. Otherwise, he might not even be able to leave Cloud Valley alive, let alone kill Longao. The evil ancestor did not hesitate any longer. His earlier wariness was all gone. There was only a single thought in his mind, and that was to kill Longao in the shortest time possible. How could Longao not know what the evil ancestor was thinking? This was also the key to life and death. It could be said that this was a moment of life and death. If he was not careful, he would probably fall into a state of eternal damnation. He could not afford to be careless. Longao's attacks also began to become fiercer. However, the absolute difference in cultivation level made it impossible for Longao to take the initiative. Under such circumstances, Longao would be killed by the evil ancestor in less than 300 moves. One had to admit that the primordial spirit realm was indeed very powerful. Not to mention Longao. Even an ordinary primordial spirit realm martial artist would not be a match for a primordial spirit realm martial artist. Only a primordial spirit realm martial artist at the level of Evil Moon could hope to defeat the evil ancestor's primordial spirit. Except for Longao, there were very few people who knew about the evil ancestor's primordial spirit. As the battle continued to escalate, Long Ao's expression became more and more solemn. If this continued, it was obvious what would happen. With a cold gaze, Long Ao defended against the frenzied attacks of the evil ancestor while saying coldly, "Evil ancestor, you asked for this. You can't blame me." Hearing Long Ao's words, the evil ancestor's heart skipped a beat. A bad feeling rose in his heart. What was wrong with him? The other party had already used up all his killing moves. As for the strength of the other party, the evil ancestor could not be bothered about it at all. This was just a mere primordial spirit realm martial artist. If not for the 9 primordial spirit beasts and the 16 types of deviant flames, the other party would have long been destroyed by him. Ha! Ha ha! Ha! Laughing maniacally, his laughter was filled with endless mockery and disdain. The evil ancestor laughed maniacally. Long Ao, show me what you've got. Your evil ancestor wants to see what else you've got. Ha! Ha ha ha! The evil ancestor did not believe that Long Ao had any killing moves. In his heart, the more the other party acted this way, the more confidence he had. Seemed like Long Ao truly did not have any killing moves left. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been forced into such a tight corner. The more he thought about it, the more excited he got. Chapter 3291. Long Ao immediately turned around and sprinted away. Trying to leave? The evil ancestor scoffed coldly. Looking at how Long Ao turned around and left, the evil ancestor was elated and chased after him. Swoosh! Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, Long Ao had already entered the Dantian. Without even thinking, the evil ancestor followed him in. The moment he stepped into the chaotic Dantian, Long Ao's laughter rang out. "You're not running anymore? Why should I run?" Long Ao stood where he was silently and looked at the evil ancestor. He had done everything on purpose. Only by doing so could he successfully lure the evil ancestor into the chaotic Dantian. In the chaotic Dantian, he was the master. However, Long Ao was clear that if he were to come up, the evil ancestor might not fall for his trap. This time around, he was going to face the evil ancestor's essence spirit alone. Long Ao had already discussed with Xinyuan Bubi that the only way to deal with the evil ancestor was to rely on the chaotic Dantian. Other than that, there was no other way. Looking at the smiling Long Ao, the evil ancestor did not know why, but he had a bad feeling in his heart. "You're courting death." Not willing to continue with the nonsense, he sprinted towards Long Ao. Before he even arrived, his horrifying attack had already arrived. But the outcome? Long Ao merely waved his hand gently, and the evil ancestor's body was sent flying. He was completely dumbfounded. The evil ancestor's face was filled with shock and disbelief. To think that he could not even defend against a single move from the other party. Was this for real? This was definitely not real. Definitely not real. Long Ao, before he was done, the evil ancestor seemed to have thought of something as he glared at the chaotic Dantian around him and said coldly, "There's a problem with your Dantian." Since things had already come to this, Long Ao did not continue hiding it as he chuckled. "Evil ancestor, you're unlucky. My Dantian has already fused with the chaotic palace and formed a chaotic Dantian." He ignored the evil ancestor's grim face. "Within my chaotic Dantian, I'm the master." Tricked. This was a lie. The evil ancestor already knew that he had fallen into the other party's trap. How could he not be furious? It was no wonder that the other party had been trying to provoke him. It turned out that he had been prepared for this. However, this situation was very unfavorable for him. The lesson from before had already explained everything. In this so-called chaotic Dantian, the other party was the ruler. He was no match for the other party. He suppressed the anger in his heart. "Long Ao, what do you want?" The evil ancestor knew that now that things had come to this, whether he lived or died was no longer up to him. On the other hand, Long Ao did not feel any joy in his heart because he had previously discussed with his master. Although the primordial chaos Dantian could deal with the evil ancestor, once the evil ancestor's primordial spirit self-destructed. Even Longao himself did not know whether the primordial chaos Danteon would be damaged or not. How could he not be worried? Because of this, Longao said, "Evil ancestor, I will give you two choices." The evil ancestor didn't say anything, but his face became more and more gloomy and ugly. The first choice is to deprive you of the primordial chaos seed and destroy your primordial spirit. Without any surprise, the evil ancestor had already guessed it. Previously, he had used a secret technique with great difficulty to not only condense the primordial chaos seed, but also preserve his primordial spirit. If he died like this, he would be a little unwilling. The evil ancestor did not speak because he was very curious. He did not know what Longao meant. Why did he not directly destroy him under such circumstances? Could there be something fishy? The second condition is that I will let you be reborn in the future, but you must choose to submit to me. Impossible. Without even thinking, the evil ancestor directly rejected. It was a complete joke. As a dignified Tao-confirming martial artist, it would be a disgrace if he chose to submit to a small primordial chaos life and death warrior. How could he choose to agree to such a thing? Longao, you should know that although you are the ruler here, with this evil ancestor's strength, once I choose to self-destruct my primordial spirit and primordial chaos seed, even your primordial chaos Danteon might not be able to withstand it. The evil ancestor did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was very clear. The evil ancestor was very clear that as long as the other party was not stupid, he believed that he would be able to understand his meaning. Longao smiled and said, "Evil ancestor, you are right. As for whether my primordial chaos Danteon can withstand your primordial spirit's self-destruction, even I do not have full confidence." Ah! The evil ancestor never thought that Longao would say such a thing. Since that was the case, before the evil ancestor could speak, Longao continued, "Evil ancestor, although I do not have the confidence to withstand your primordial spirit's self-destruction, I have a kind of supreme treasure of heaven and earth that can protect my life." As he spoke, Longao had already arrived beside the primordial chaos tree. Looking at the evil ancestor in front of him, he asked, "I wonder if the evil ancestor recognizes this item?" The evil ancestor stared fixedly at the small tree beside Longao. For a moment, the evil ancestor did not know. However, in the next second, the evil ancestor felt the huge vitality emitted from the small tree. The evil ancestor's expression changed as he shouted in shock. "This is the primordial chaos tree, the number one divine item in the primordial chaos realm." Of course, the evil ancestor knew what the primordial chaos tree meant. As the number one divine item in the primordial chaos realm, the primordial chaos tree was only a legend for countless years. No one had seen the primordial chaos tree before. It was because of this that the evil ancestor never thought that the legendary number one divine item in the primordial chaos realm would be in Longao's primordial chaos Danteon. How was this possible? First, it was the primordial chaos divine beast diagram and the 9 primordial chaos divine beasts. Then, it was the 16 types of heavenly flames, including the number 1 heavenly flame, the primordial chaos flame. Now, it was the primordial chaos tree. Wasn't Longao's luck a little too perverse? The evil ancestor finally knew why Longao was so fearless. It turned out that he had the primordial chaos tree. As long as he had the primordial chaos tree, even if the evil ancestor self-destructed, he would only be able to severely injure the other party. It would be impossible for him to perish together with Longao. At this moment, the evil ancestor did not have any confidence at all. He was helpless. No matter who he faced, he had never been like this. Only when he faced this person with heaven-defying luck, he could only say that his luck was bad. "Longao, can you give me a chance? I will definitely return this favor to you in the future." Return? If Longao believed him, then his brain would be flooded with water. He shook his head and said with a smile, "Evil ancestor, I have already said that I will give you two choices. It's up to you to choose." What a joke! He had the protection of the primordial chaos tree. Even if the evil ancestor chose to self-destruct and severely injure his primordial chaos Danteon, he would not die. However, if he could completely subdue the evil ancestor, it would be a pleasant surprise for him. After all, once the evil ancestor was reborn, the probability of reaching the Tao validation realm was 99%. In other words, he would have a Tao validation realm cultivator protecting him in the future. Chapter 3292. Evil Ancestor's face became gloomier and gloomier. In the end, Evil Ancestor sighed deeply and said helplessly, "You win." Hearing Evil Ancestor's answer, Longao's face was instantly filled with joy because Evil Ancestor's meaning was very clear. He had agreed to submit to him. Of course, Longao wouldn't easily choose to believe him. He smiled and didn't say anything. Evil Ancestor wasn't a fool. How could he not know what Longao meant? Even if he was unwilling in his heart, things had already come to this, and he couldn't change anything. In helplessness, Evil Ancestor could only swear a Tao affirmation oath and choose to submit to Longao. Once a Tao affirmation oath was made, it couldn't be changed. Master. Evil Ancestor was extremely unwilling to call him Master, but after thinking about it, he was relieved. Evil Ancestor was a dignified Tao affirmation martial artist. Even if it was only a remnant of his primordial spirit, his pride was there. Only at this moment did Longao truly heave a sigh of relief. After all, without the threat of Evil Ancestor, a big problem for him and his family was solved. "You don't have to call me Master." "Young Master." With a helpless look, Longao didn't continue to argue about this title and said, "Evil Ancestor, I want to ask you now, what are your chances of successfully rebirth and Tao affirmation?" This was what Longao was really concerned about. No matter what, Evil Ancestor was still a Tao affirmation martial artist. However, the current situation was a bit special. Evil Ancestor only had a remnant of his primordial spirit. Fortunately, there was the primordial spirit. Otherwise, Evil Ancestor would be completely finished. How could Evil Ancestor not know Longao's meaning? However, since he had already chosen to submit, he didn't have the arrogance from before. He said indifferently, "Back then, I used a secret technique to condense the primordial spirit while retaining my primordial spirit. But if I want to be reborn and succeed in Tao affirmation." Looking at Evil Ancestor's sigh, Longao of course knew what Evil Ancestor meant. He was helpless. It seemed that the chances weren't high. "Young Master, if you can find a suitable physique, the chances of success are less than 30%. So that was the case. Longao was completely depressed. The other party previously said that he was full of confidence. He didn't even have a 30% chance. "Evil Ancestor, is something the matter?" Longao looked at Evil Ancestor and kept looking at the chaos tree not far away. He seemed to have guessed something. "Young Master, under normal circumstances, I only have a 30% chance of being reborn and achieving Tao. But now, with the help of the chaos tree, I have a 70% chance." After thinking about it, Longao figured out the reason. As expected of the number one divine object in the chaos realm, he could actually help the Evil Ancestor, increasing the chance of success from 30% to 70%. What kind of concept was that? Thinking of this, Longao smiled and said, "Evil Ancestor, from now on, I will do my best to help you rebirth and successfully prove your Tao." "Thank you, young Master. You can just stay by the chaos tree and cultivate in the future." The Evil Ancestor was overjoyed. Of course, he knew what the chaos tree meant. Right now, he only existed as a primordial spirit. If he could cultivate beside the chaos tree, that would be the best thing. Just as Longao was about to leave, "Young Master, I have something to tell you. Please speak." Longao was curious. He didn't know what the Evil Ancestor wanted to say. But as a Tao-proving warrior, the Evil Ancestor knew that it must be something important. "I wonder how much young Master knows about the chaos tree." "Not much." "Not much indeed. Because Longao only knew that the Chaos Tree was the #1 divine object in the Chaos Realm and had a terrifying life force. Other than that, he didn't know anything else about the Chaos Tree. The evil ancestor didn't tease at all because the Chaos Tree was always a legend in the Chaos Realm. Very few people knew what the Chaos Tree was. Young Master, according to the rumors, not only is the Chaos Tree the #1 divine object in the Chaos Realm, it can even bear chaos fruits. Hearing the words chaos fruit, Longao's heart skipped a beat. Evil ancestor, what's the use of the chaos fruit? Intuition told Longao that the so-called chaos fruit was definitely not simple. No matter what, the value of the chaos tree was there. As the #1 divine object in the chaos realm, it was obvious what it meant to be able to bear fruits. As expected, the evil ancestor said enviously, "It is said that the chaos fruit borne by the chaos tree is the supreme treasure in the entire chaos realm. If one is lucky enough to eat one." How is it? Longao couldn't wait to ask. If the primal chaos fruit could help him attain his Tao, then this would be great news for him. As though he could guess what Longao was thinking, the evil ancestor said with a smile, "Young master, the chaos fruit can't help a chaos warrior prove his Tao." Hearing this, Longao was more or less disappointed. After all, the thing he wanted to see the most now was that he could successfully prove his Tao. In that case, he would truly be standing at the peak of martial arts. In the future, no one would be able to harm his family. Although the chaos fruit can't help a chaos warrior prove his Tao, it is very useful. It is said that the chaos fruit can only be borne by the chaos tree. Longao was completely depressed. After talking for a long time, the evil ancestor still didn't get to the main point. The more it was so, the more curious he was. Looking at the expression on the evil ancestor's face, the chaos fruit borne by the chaos tree must be extraordinary. However, Longao didn't say much because he knew very well that the evil ancestor wouldn't play any tricks with him now. After all, he had already chosen to submit to him. As long as he wanted to, he could kill the evil ancestor at any time. If someone can eat the chaos fruit, not only can it strengthen the soul, it can also extend the person's life indefinitely. Although it's not immortal, it's not far from it. Most importantly, evil ancestor, if you have something to say, just say it. Even Longao couldn't help but feel a little annoyed. The evil ancestor kept him in suspense again and again. The evil ancestor seemed to know that he was being shameless. He smiled and said awkwardly, "Young master, there is something you don't know. The chaos fruit is really too heaven-defying. Everything else is fine, but the life force it contains is too strong. Even if it can't be compared to the chaos tree, it is still no small matter. Once consumed, no matter how serious the injury in the future is, as long as it isn't a true death, one can use the huge life force in the body to recover. So that's how it is. If that's the case, the chaos fruit is really heaven-defying." As the evil ancestor said, even if the chaos fruit wasn't as good as the chaos tree, it was still very good for a chaos warrior. When will the chaos tree bear fruit? I don't know. Maybe 10 years, maybe 100 years, maybe 100 million years. How much can it bear at once? This was what Longao was most concerned about. Chapter 3293. If the chaos tree could only bear one chaos fruit, it would be useless. With his current strength and the help of the chaos dantian and the chaos tree, it was useless whether he consumed the chaos fruit or not. He seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. The evil ancestor smiled and said, "Young master, the number of chaos fruits that the chaos tree can bear depends on luck." Luck was like that. Longao already knew what the evil ancestor meant. If he was lucky, every time the chaos tree bore fruit, it could bear hundreds of chaos fruits. If he was unlucky, it was unknown if he could bear one chaos fruit, let alone hundreds of chaos fruits. He did not continue to dwell on it. Just as the evil ancestor said, it was still unknown when the chaos tree would bear fruit. It was too early to think about it. They returned smoothly. The moment she saw Longao, Song Lin could no longer hold it in and hugged Longao and began to cry. It would be a lie to say that she was not worried in such a situation. Longao naturally knew Sister Lin's worries and hugged her gently and patted her shoulder. An hour later, Ao, you really subdued the evil ancestors? He nodded. Longao did not hide anything from his master and Song Lin. He recounted everything that had happened in detail. After listening to Longao's story, the two of them sighed endlessly. If Ao's luck was not good, the outcome of this battle would be unknown. No matter what, being able to subdue the evil ancestor this time is a good gain for you. How could Longao not know what his master meant? Although the evil ancestor was only an essence spirit, he was a Tao validation warrior after all. If he could be reborn and successfully validate his Tao in the future, it would be equivalent to having another Tao validation helper. What kind of concept was that? How could he not be excited? How could he not be excited? Even now, with the evil ancestor's strength, he was not afraid of Evil Moon. In other words, from now on, no one in the entire chaotic realm would be able to threaten him unless it was a Tao-proving realm cultivator who personally made a move. It was still the same sentence. If he was alone, he would not be afraid even if he faced a Tao validation warrior. At most, he would hide in the chaos Dantian. However, he was not alone. There was Sister Lin and the rest, as well as his family. But now, the situation was different. It was impossible for a Tao vindication martial artist to casually descend. Other than that, even if Evil Moon came, with the evil ancestor holding the fort, he didn't have to be afraid. Thinking of this, Longao laughed. Inside the chaotic Dantian, when the evil ancestor heard Xianyuan Bubi's words, he sighed helplessly. Longao was indeed not a simple person to be able to become a disciple of a Tao-confirming martialist. He was a Tao-confirming cultivator himself. Of course, he knew the arrogance and vision of a Tao-confirming cultivator. How could an ordinary person be accepted as a disciple by a Tao-confirming cultivator? It would be a lie if he said that he did not regret it. However, it was too late for regrets now. He had already chosen to submit. Once he regretted it, Longao would kill him without hesitation. If he had exited Longao's body earlier, he would not have been afraid even if Xianyuan Bubi, a Tao vindication warrior, was behind Longao. But now, the situation was completely different. He had already chosen to submit, and his life was already in the hands of Longao. Xianyuan Bubi, your injuries are so serious. It seems. Waving his hand, Xianyuan Bubi said indifferently, with a disciple like Ao, even if this old man dies, it's worth it. The only thing that Xianyuan Bubi could not let go of was Gu Hao. After all, it was his most capable disciple who had harmed him. Until now, Xianyuan Bubi was still unwilling to accept this fact. Back then, he had treated Gu Hao as his own son and did his best to help Gu Hao break through to the Tao-confirming realm. In the end, he never thought that Gu Hao would sneak attack him. If not for the primal chaos tree, he believed that he would have already fallen. Although he was unwilling, Xianyuan Bubi knew very well that this disciple of his would definitely avenge him in the future. You and I are both Tao-confirming cultivators. Sigh, I never thought that you and I would fall to such a state. Fate makes fools of us. Xianyuan Bubi smiled and said, with Ao's help, it's not impossible for you to be reborn in the future and reconfirm your Tao. The evil ancestor nodded. How could he not see Xianyuan Bubi's situation? In this life, Xianyuan Bubi would definitely not be able to succeed in proving his Tao. Whether he could be reborn or not was unknown. Master, evil ancestor, the two of you will have the chance to be reborn and prove your Tao in the future. Evil ancestor, there's no need to say anything. As for you, Master, if there's no way to help you be reborn in the future, I'll use the primal chaos tree to help you. Ah? Hearing Longao's words, both the evil ancestor and Xianyuan Bubi were completely stunned. Of course, they knew what the primal chaos tree meant. The two of them never thought that Longao would be willing to take out such a divine item. Xinyuan Bubi was clearly a little emotional. He said helplessly, "Ao or master, it's not worth it." Although the evil ancestor did not say anything, the expression on his face said everything. Sacrificing the primal chaos tree for a person who could not be reborn or even prove his Tao was not worth it. Long Ao shook his head and said with a smile, "A master for a day is a father for life." With that, Long Ao left the primal chaos Dantian. Xinyuan Bubi was very emotional, but the evil ancestor was very envious. Such a disciple, no matter who it was, even if it was a Tao-proving warrior, they would not be able to get it. After leaving the primal chaos Dantian, Long Ao clenched his fists tightly. Now that he had settled the evil ancestor's matter, he would use all his strength to find the remaining 3 treasures: the reincarnation fruit, the underworld water, and a primal chaos reincarnation divine beast core. As for the problem of his master, he still could not solve it. However, Long Ao had already decided that if he could not help his master be reborn in the end, he would help his master be reborn even if he had to sacrifice the primal chaos tree. In his heart, the primal chaos tree was incomparable to his master. It was not a concept of whether it was worth it or not. As for the remaining 3 treasures, Long Ao thought about it and decided to hunt a primal chaos divine beast core first. With his current strength, strange flame, primal chaos divine beast, and the evil ancestor's power, it would be easy to kill a primal chaos divine beast core. However, looking at the entire primal chaos realm, there were very few primal chaos divine beasts. Even if he had the strength to hunt one, it would depend on whether he had the luck. However, Long Ao was not very worried about this problem. After all, he already had 9 primal chaos divine beasts. Others might not know, but it did not mean that the 9 primal chaos divine beasts did not know. "Boss, you want to hunt a primal chaos divine beast?" Chapter 3294. What was the meaning of this? Long Ao knew that there must be something fishy going on for Blackie and the others to say something like this. "Blackie, what's going on?" Blackie sighed deeply and replied helplessly, "Boss, the 9 of us are Chaos God Beasts at the end of the day. We can be considered as the rulers of the Chaos God Beast race. That's why. Even though Blackie did not finish his sentence, the meaning of his words was clear. How could Long Ao not know about this? He was helpless. He had not thought of this level at all. The 9 of them were Chaos God Beasts, the rulers of the Chaos God Beast race. He knew what it meant to hunt down the Chaos God Beasts. Lin Fan sighed deeply in his heart. However, he could not do without any of the 6 treasures. If he could not hunt down the Chaos God Beasts and obtain their cores, his cultivation state would never be able to break through to the Chaos reincarnation state. It would be unrealistic to say that he would give up. Long Ao did not want to say anything more. He could not possibly hurt the 9 Chaos God Beasts for his sake. As for why their boss wanted to hunt down the Chaos God Beasts, how could the 9 Chaos God Beasts not know? All of them looked at each other and saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. "Boss, I know of a place where there's a Chaos God Beast, but it's an evil one." Tao Tai's meaning was clear. Long Ao smiled and nodded his head. "Where?" The place that Tao Tai was referring to was a secluded place in the Chaos world. It was a nameless valley. Long Ao's expression finally became a little warmer as he stared intently at the valley in front of him. This was because he could clearly sense that there was definitely a primal chaos reincarnation divine beast guarding the valley in front of him. "Boss, you don't have to take on this Chaos God Beast personally. The 9 of us can do it." Regarding the meaning of the Taotai divine beast's words, Long Ao naturally knew and nodded his head to express his agreement. In the next second, 9 Chaos God Beasts, Heaven-devouring God Beast, Jioing God Beast, Zhuing God Beast, Pishio God Beast, Chionyo God Beast, Taotai God Beast, Heaven Splitter God Beast, Golden Ho God Beast, 9-headed Dragon Python God Beast, and Taotai God Beast. All of them headed towards the valley before them. Soon, all 9 Chaos God Beasts disappeared from the valley. and everything happened in less than a few minutes. Boom, 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 boom. He watched as the 9 figures appeared outside the valley. Boom, boom. Although the 9 divine beasts of chaos had yet to break through the chaos reincarnation realm, they were only one step away. If they joined forces, it wouldn't be difficult for them to kill the chaos reincarnation divine beast. That was how terrifying the 9 divine beasts of chaos were. Boom! If the 9 divine beasts of chaos were to recover their peak strength, once they joined forces, no one in the entire chaotic realm would be able to contend against the 9 divine beasts of chaos, except for martial artists who had proven their Tao. Of course, of. The most important thing now was to find a way to lock onto the exact location of their treasures. Boom! Upon hearing Xinyuan Bubi's words, the evil ancestor's face was filled with shock. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that Longao would have cultivated out the chaotic saint body. What sort of a concept was that? He knew clearly what the chaotic saint body was. Even though the chaotic saint body was known as the #1 body in the chaotic world, there were pros and cons to it. While the chaotic saint body might be useful in proving one's Tao, before that, it would be a huge hindrance to one's cultivation. You're prepared to let Longao find all 6 treasures? Of course, the evil ancestor knew everything that Xinyuan Bubi knew. And it was because of that he knew how difficult it would be to find all 6 treasures to solve the problem of the chaotic saint body. Ao has already obtained 4 treasures. As for the reincarnation fruit and netherworld water, it's up to him to find them. Xinyuan Bubi was clear that be it the reincarnation fruit or the netherworld water, they were treasures that could only be found by chance. If one was lucky, they could find them in a couple of days. If not, they might not even be able to locate them even after hundreds of millions of years. How could the evil ancestor not know what Xinyuan Bubi meant? Trying to find the whereabouts of the 2 treasures in a sea of people was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Is there no other way? The evil ancestor sighed deeply. The evil ancestor said helplessly, "You're also a Tao-proving warrior. Of course, you know what the chaotic saint body means. If Ao didn't get the chaotic tree, I wouldn't have told him this." Among the 6 treasures, the chaotic tree was the most difficult to obtain. After all, the chaotic tree was the #1 divine object in the chaotic world. For countless years, no one had obtained it. Perhaps Longao was the first. The evil ancestor's expression changed as if he thought of something. He said, "Xinyuan, you just said that the young master has already obtained 4 treasures. Besides the netherworld water and the reincarnation fruit, does that mean that he has already obtained the Tao-proving seed?" The evil ancestor knew very well what the Tao verification seed meant. It was something condensed from the fall of a Tao verification warrior. It was impossible for a Tao verification warrior to fall. Xinyuan Bubi had been killed by a sneak attack from his own disciple, while the evil ancestor had been surrounded and killed by several Tao verification warriors. If that was the case, where would Longao find the so-called Tao-proving seed? It was hard to believe, and his face was full of disbelief. Seeing that Xinyuan Bubi didn't say anything, the evil ancestor had already guessed that the Tao-proving seed that Longao obtained was condensed by Xinyuan Bubi. The evil ancestor already knew that the reason why Xinyuan Bubi was able to condense the Tao-proving seed and preserve his primordial spirit was all because of the chaotic tree. Otherwise, Xinyuan Bubi would have died long ago. How could he have waited until now? It was complete nonsense. If I were you, I wouldn't be able to do it. He asked himself, if he was in Xinyuan Bubi's shoes, would he be able to do it? There was no doubt about it, because the Tao-proving seed meant a lot to a Tao-proving warrior. Once Xinyuan Bubi lost the Tao-proving seed, even if he could be reborn in the future, it would be impossible for him to prove his Tao. However, Xinyuan Bubi still took out his Tao-proving seed to help the young master. For the evil ancestor, this seemed to be a great shock. Before this, if someone told him this, he wouldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. But now it really happened, and it was right in front of his eyes. Xinyuan Bubi smiled and said, "It doesn't matter whether I prove my Tao or not. What matters is that I can help Ao. Chapter 3295. The Evil Ancestor Side. This kind of thing was simply inconceivable. Even now, he was unwilling to hand over his Tao-confirming seed. It could be said that the Tao-confirming seed was simply too important for a Tao-confirming warrior. After successfully obtaining the beast core of the Chaos Reincarnation Beast, Longao did not hesitate at all and immediately began to search for the two treasures that were born, the so-called Netherwater and Reincarnation Fruit. Haha, Longao, you finally appeared. Just as Longao was searching for the remaining two treasures, a crazy laughter suddenly came from the nine heavens. The laughter was filled with endless ridicule and contempt. He snorted coldly. He looked at Evil Moon coldly. In the next second, the figure of the evil ancestor appeared beside Longao. He looked at the evil ancestor coldly and said, "A small chaos reincarnation martial artist dares to be arrogant here." Evil Moon, who was originally mocking, suddenly looked at the essence spirit that appeared beside Longao, and his face changed abruptly. Tao confirming essence spirit? This was Tao confirming essence spirit? Evil Moon was completely stunned because he never thought that there would actually be a primordial spirit realm cultivator who had reached the Tao realm by Longao's side. As a chaos reincarnation martial artist, Evil Moon of course knew what Tao confirming essence spirit meant. In his current situation, if he could devour Tao confirming essence spirit, he knew what it meant. If it was a Tao confirming warrior at his peak, he would definitely not be a match for him. But the situation now was different. The other party was just a Tao confirming essence spirit, so he could definitely devour a Tao confirming martial god. Thinking of this, Evil Moon was even more surprised. Very excited. Very excited. How could Longao not know what Evil Moon was thinking? However, Evil Moon had still underestimated the strength of an essence spirit. Longao, I didn't expect that you would give me such a big gift. Not bad, not bad. If I can devour a Tao confirming essence spirit, then I can definitely confirm my Tao. Haha, haha. Thinking that he could use the Tao confirming essence spirit to confirm his Tao, Evil Moon could not help but be surprised. With just you? Before Evil Moon could react, the evil ancestor took a step forward and instantly arrived in front of Evil Moon and began to attack wildly. In the battle quickly. Of course, Longao would not give Evil Moon any chance. The moment the evil ancestor attacked, Longao also attacked quickly. With the two of them working together, it should not be difficult to kill Evil Moon. Evil Moon, who was originally full of confidence, only realized how terrifying the strength of a primordial soul realm cultivator was when he really attacked. He was very shocked, but at this moment, Nangong-in, Master God Diviner, Wu Tianmo, and Judas, the four Chaos Reincarnation Warriors, appeared at the same time. 2 against 5. Longao finally knew why Evil Moon was so confident. It seemed that it was almost impossible to defeat the 5 of them. Evil Ancestor, let's go. Evil Ancestor was also helpless. If it was a one-on-one fight, he wouldn't be afraid of any one of them. It was just that it was a little difficult for him to fight against the joint forces of 5 Chaos Reincarnation experts. Without even thinking, the evil ancestor and Longao disappeared from where they were. Senior, why didn't you trap Longao? Not to mention Evil Moon. Even the other 4 had already sensed that the primordial soul they had just dealt with was the primordial soul of a Tao affirmation expert. They were very shocked. The 4 of them also knew what it meant to be able to devour a Tao affirmation primordial soul. So, what if I can lock onto him? If I can't destroy the Chaos Palace, I still can't deal with Longao. Longao was the most depressed person because as a super existence closest to a Tao affirmation expert, he couldn't even deal with a Longao. If it was before, he wouldn't be afraid of Longao at all because in his opinion, Longao was just a coward who dared to hide in the Chaos Palace and didn't dare to come out. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao actually had such a powerful Tao affirmation, primordial soul realm cultivator by his side. This time, if it weren't for Wu Tianmo and the others, he believed that even he wouldn't be able to defeat the two of them alone. Now that he thought about it, he was terrified. The most important thing now was to join forces with Wu Tianmo and the others to kill Longao as soon as possible and devour his Tao affirmation primordial soul realm cultivator. Otherwise, if he didn't remove the roots when cutting the grass, it would grow again. Then what should we do now? Think of a way to break through the Chaos Palace. Ever since Longao had subdued the evil ancestor, he had left the Soul Break Valley. Duan Hun was also sighing. Although he was somewhat unwilling in his heart, he didn't say much. Duan Hun was very clear that if Longao could subdue the evil ancestor, Longao would be able to do whatever he wanted in the world in the future. Returning to the Chaos Dantian, the evil ancestor's face was very gloomy. Facing 5 Chaos Reincarnation Realm cultivators, he had chosen to avoid them. For him, this was a humiliation, a great humiliation. Looking at the evil ancestor, Longao naturally knew what the evil ancestor was thinking. However, he didn't know what to say. After all, the evil ancestor could indeed do whatever he wanted in a one-on-one fight. But facing 5 Chaos Reincarnation Realm cultivators at the same time, even with the evil ancestor's strength, he couldn't contend against them. Especially among the 5 of them, Evil Moon's strength was infinitely close to the Tao affirmation realm. As for the evil ancestor and Evil Moon fighting one-on-one, it was still unknown who would win. However, Longao wouldn't let the evil ancestor take the risk. If it was before, whether the evil ancestor lived or died had nothing to do with him. But now, the situation was different. The evil ancestor had chosen to submit to him. The evil ancestor was very important to him. Furthermore, Longao had already treated the evil ancestor as one of his own. Or what's going on? Xin Yuan Bubi had a bad premonition when he saw the expression on the evil ancestor's face. Apart from Longao, no one else could sense what was happening outside the chaotic Dantian. Not even the evil ancestor or Xin Yuan Bubi could do so. Xin Yuan Bubi was very clear about the evil ancestor's strength. Dealing with ordinary chaos reincarnation realm cultivators was a piece of cake. But now, the evil ancestor's expression was so unsightly that it was obvious what had happened. Longao didn't hide anything and gave a rough account of what had just happened. After listening, Xin Yuan Bubi nodded and said, "Evil ancestor, I know you're not convinced. However, you have to know that you're no longer the same as before. Even with Aor's help, you won't be a match for 5 Chaos Reincarnation Realm cultivators. I know. It's just that back then, he was merely an ant-like existence in my eyes. But now, Evil Ancestor didn't continue speaking because he suddenly thought of something. His young master, Longao, seemed to be only at primal chaos life and death realm, yet he had chosen to submit. Shaking his head helplessly, the Evil Ancestor said, "Young master, if you want to kill the 5 of them, you have to defeat them one by one." Chapter 3296. Kill them one by one? Longao naturally knew what the evil ancestor meant. It was almost impossible to kill 4 people and 1 beast at the same time unless his cultivation base could return to the primal chaos reincarnation realm. However, if he wanted to recover his primal chaos reincarnation realm, he still lacked 2 treasures, the nether water and the reincarnation fruit. The only thing he could do now was to kill them one by one. With his and the evil ancestor's combined strength, it was more than enough to deal with the other except for Evil Moon. Thinking of this, Longao smiled. Xin Yuan Bubi smiled. Even the gloomy evil ancestor also laughed. Longao had been observing the movements of the 5 people in his primal chaos Dantian. As long as the 5 of them separated, it would be the best time for him to make a move. Wait, if it was before, it was impossible for the five of them to be together anytime and anywhere. However, after this incident, the five of them seemed to feel that things were troublesome. Moreover, they had already decided that they would absolutely not separate before they killed Longao. For the five of them, this was definitely a huge humiliation. However, under such circumstances, even if it was a humiliation, so what? It was very depressing. If they wanted to kill Longao, they had to deal with the Primal Chaos Palace first. Otherwise, everything was nonsense. However, it was easier said than done to destroy the Primal Chaos Palace. The five of them returned to the Devil Palace with a gloomy expression. However, they didn't expect Longao to follow them back to the first heavens. The current Primal Chaos realm was still dominated by four major forces. The four major forces were the Devil Palace, the Domain Lords Alliance, the Pill Hall, and the Ancient Sect. After returning to the first heavens, Longao first sent Sister Lin back to the Domain Lords Alliance. No matter what, killing a Primal Chaos Reincarnation Realm Cultivator was an extremely dangerous thing. Even if Sister Lin was a Primal Chaos Life and Death Realm Cultivator, she couldn't do it. Domain Lords Alliance. Seeing Longao and Lin return safely, Sonya and the others heaved a sigh of relief. The three of them knew that since Longao was fine, he must have escaped the pursuit of a Primal Chaos Realm Cultivator. Even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't have thought that Longao could subdue a Primal Chaos Realm Cultivator. Longao wouldn't say it. Songlin wouldn't say it either. Brother Long, please. Domain Lord Alliance, Back Mountain Forbidden Area. Without Song Ya's instructions, even Song Lin's father, Song Hao, did not dare to casually step in. But due to Song Hao's identity, Song Ya let Song Hao accompany him. Brother Long, is what Lin said earlier true? Longao naturally knew what Song Ya meant. Since things had already come to this, there was no need for him to hide anything. He nodded and replied, indeed. The evil ancestor used a secret technique. Not only did he condense the primal chaos seed, he even preserved his primordial spirit. Fortunately, the hidden danger was successfully resolved. Sister Lin is fine now. Was it joy or sorrow? Song Lin had fused with the primal chaos seed and would definitely become a martial artist in the future. But now, Sonya was more or less disappointed. However, he knew that if it wasn't for Longao intervention, then even if Lin was able to successfully attain her Tao in the future, it would probably be a calamity for the Domain Lord Alliance. Thank you, Brother Long. You're welcome. I'm sure you're aware of the relationship between Sister Lin and me. Without further ado, Longao's meaning was clear. How could Sonya and the rest not understand? After thinking for a while, Sonya said, Brother Long, I don't need to hide your relationship with Lin from you. Evil Moon has already looked for me previously. Join forces to deal with me? Without any surprise, Longao had already guessed Evil Moon's intention. Especially this time, Evil Moon had witnessed Evil Ancestor's strength. If there were no accidents, Evil Moon would not only join forces with Sonya, but also other Primal Chaos reincarnation martial artists. I didn't agree. Until now, Sonya still hadn't regained his senses. Even if Longao was a genius, he was only in the chaotic life and death realm. Evil Moon's strength was very strong, and he had already joined forces with Mo Wutian and the rest. Under such circumstances, Evil Moon actually wanted to join forces with other Primal Chaos reincarnation martial artists. What did this mean? Sonya wasn't a fool. Of course, he knew it wasn't so simple. It seemed like Longao wasn't as simple as he looked. Otherwise, why would Evil Moon be so wary of him? In addition, Sonya didn't want to get involved in the grudge between the two. Whether it was Evil Moon or Longao, they weren't people he could provoke. Once he showed favoritism, it would be a devastating blow to him. Also, Sonya was very clear about his relationship with Lin. Once Longao matured in the future, it would only be a good thing for the Domain Lords Alliance. How could Longao not note Sonya's intention? But he didn't point it out. Having one more friend was always better than having one more enemy. Moreover, there was Lin's relationship. Evil Moon. Sangye didn't continue to dwell on this issue. Instead, he asked, Brother Long, what are you going to do next? Deal with Evil Moon. Sure enough, although Sangye had already guessed it, he was still a little shocked. Looking at the entire chaos world, other than Longao, no one else dared to say such a thing. After all, Evil Moon's strength was there. There was also Mo Wutian, Nangong Yin, Juyin, and the divine mathematician. As long as Evil Moon and the others wanted to destroy the Domain Lord's Alliance or the Pill Hall, it would be a piece of cake. Longao didn't continue to stay. It was a joke. It was already very kind of Sangye to not help Evil Moon. He didn't ask for more. It was better to rely on oneself than to rely on others. Even if he couldn't deal with Evil Moon with his current strength, it didn't mean that he didn't have a chance. As long as he defeated them one by one, he would be able to deal with Evil Moon. Among Evil Moon and the others, Longao had already thought about it. The first thing he had to deal with was Juyin. No matter what, he had to subdue Juyin first. In this way, he could gather the 10 Chaos Divine Beasts and use the Chaos Divine Beast diagram to help Blackie and the others recover to the Chaos Reincarnation Realm. In this way, the 10 Chaos Divine Beasts were equivalent to 10 Chaos Reincarnation Realm Warriors. Once the 10 Chaos Divine Beasts recovered, even Evil Moon wouldn't be able to resist the Chaos Divine Beast diagram and the 9 Chaos Divine Beasts. Killing Evil Moon and the others would be a piece of cake. Therefore, the most important thing now was to deal with Juyin as soon as possible. After leaving the Domain Lord's Alliance, Longao entered the perimeter of the Devil Palace, waiting for an opportunity to divide Mo Wutian and the others, and then take advantage of the situation. At this moment, Gu Hao rushed to the first heavenly domain from the Thunder Heavenly Domain and entered the Devil Palace. Gu Hao. The current Gu Hao was already famous throughout the entire Chaos Realm, and the ancient sect that he had created himself was able to contend against the other superpowers. Furthermore, Gu Hao himself was also a powerful primal chaos samsara realm cultivator. And as for whether he could contend against Evil Moon, it should be impossible. Evil Moon, Mo Wutian, Nangong Yin, divine mathematician, I came uninvited. You should welcome me. Chapter 3297. Welcome? How could they welcome him? The current ancient sect was simply the mortal enemy of the Demon Palace, and the ancient sect was created by Gu Hao. Of course, Evil Moon and the other two did not care at all. In any case, no matter who dominated the Chaos Realm, it had nothing to do with them. Only Mo Wutian. The development of the ancient sect had already exceeded his understanding. Please. Gu Hao did not hold back and directly sat down. Amongst the four of them, Evil Moon was the main character. He smiled. Evil Moon smiled and said, I wonder why Brother Gu has come this time. Gu Hao did not hesitate in the slightest and said, I heard that you guys have met Longao. I believe that you guys should know about the grudge between me and Longao. So I want to join hands with you guys to deal with Longao. Evil Moon and the others were not surprised at all, as if they had already guessed Gu Hao's meaning. If it was just Longao alone, then having Gu Hao join would also be a good thing. But now, the situation was different. The reason was simple. Attaining the primordial spirit, Xianyuan Bubi. Gu Hao laughed and said with a smile, with me joining, I believe that Longao will not be able to escape this calamity. I have already thought of a way to deal with his primal chaos palace. Hearing Gu Hao's words, everyone was overjoyed. After all, the reason why Longao was able to live until now was not because of his strength, but because of the primal chaos palace in his hands. However, Evil Moon said, Gu Hao, I believe you have conditions to deal with Longao. Why don't you say it? I only want Xianyuan Bubi's primordial spirit. As expected, Evil Moon had already guessed that he could give up on any treasure in Longao's hands, but he could not give up on Xianyuan Bubi's primordial spirit, including Xianyuan Bubi's Tao-confirming seed. Xianyuan Bubi could clearly feel that if they were to fight one-on-one, other than himself, no one else would be a match for Gu Hao. It seemed that Gu Hao alone was unable to kill Longao and wanted to borrow their strength. Gu Hao, forgive me for not agreeing to your request. You and I both know Xinyuan Bubi's identity. Whether it's primordial spirit or the Tao-confirming seed, I must obtain them. Mo Wu Tian and the other two were filled with greed. No matter what kind of treasure it was nothing compared to the face of a Tao verification seed. However, Gu Hao did not mind and said with a smile, Senior Evil Moon, you should know that without my help, you would not be able to kill Longao and wait until Longao's cultivation breaks through the primal chaos reincarnation realm. After saying that, Gu Hao did not continue, but the meaning behind his words was already very clear. Evil Moon shook his head. You may leave. Gu Hao's face changed. He originally thought that with such a trump card, even Xiaoyu and the others would choose to compromise and agree to his request. But what was the result? Senior Evil Moon, have you decided? We'll naturally think of a way to deal with Longao. However, I'll still say the same thing. I'm determined to get Xinyuan Bubi's primordial spirit and Tao verification seed. What did that mean? How could Gu Hao not know? He was furious in his heart, but although he could defeat Mo Wu Tian and the others with his strength, he was not Evil Moon's match. Without a doubt, in this kind of situation, the chances of him obtaining the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit would be infinitely lower. How could he not be angry? It was just that if he wanted to forcefully make a move, not to mention obtaining the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit, it would be unknown whether or not he would be able to leave safely. Although Evil Moon was very polite right now, Gu Hao knew that as long as he fell out with him, Evil Moon would definitely not hesitate to deal with him. Evil Moon, how about we each take a step back? Tell me about it. I will help you deal with Longao. At the same time that you successfully kill Longao, you and I will each take one of Xinyuan Bubi's primordial spirit and Tao-confirming seed. How about it? How could Evil Moon not know what Gu Hao meant? After thinking for a while, he finally nodded and agreed. Evil Moon knew that under these circumstances, it was almost impossible to kill Longao. After all, until now, he still had no way to destroy the primal chaos palace in his hands. Even Longao could not kill him, let alone obtain his Tao-proving seed and primordial spirit. It was simply nonsense. Was that possible? In this kind of situation, he could only agree to Gu Hao's request. No matter what, as long as he could successfully kill Longao, as for the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit, he could casually obtain one of them. Gu Hao, I want the Tao-confirming seed. Then I want the primordial spirit. In just a few minutes, the two of them had finished distributing the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit. They didn't care about the others at all. Although Mo Wu Tian and the other two didn't say anything, they were all furious in their hearts. Each of them had their own ulterior motives, and it was still unknown who would obtain the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit. Demon Palace, inside a secret room. Boss, are we really not going to get our hands on the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit? The Candle Shadow Divine Beast was also very angry. Of course, he knew what it meant to his boss once the ancestor obtained the Tao-confirming seed and primordial spirit. Mo Wu Tian's face was very gloomy, as ugly as it could be. He said coldly, Evil Moon and Gu Hao are simply too much. They directly chose to ignore us. As a Tao-confirming warrior, Xinyuan Bubi's primordial spirit and Tao-confirming seed are both extremely important to us. Once the two of them obtain them, there is a high chance that Gu Hao and Evil Moon will succeed. How could the Candle Shadow Divine Beast not know the meaning of his boss's words? Knowing was one thing, but how to do it was another. After all, whether it was Gu Hao or Evil Moon, their strength was obvious. Once the two of them joined hands, even if the four of them attacked at the same time, they might not be a match for the two of them. This was also what the four of them were truly afraid of. Otherwise, with the anger of Mo Wu Tian and the others, they would have already attacked. However, the situation was special, and the four of them endured in the end. Boss, what should we do now? Endure. Endure? The candle shadow divine beast didn't seem to understand. He looked at his boss in front of him with a curious face, not knowing what his boss meant. After thinking for a while, Mo Wutian said coldly, on the surface, we will deal with Long Ao together with them. However, when we kill Long Ao, we will find an opportunity to seize the Tao confirming seed and primordial spirit, then immediately escape and never come back. After I confirm my Tao, not to mention Gu Hao or Evil Moon, even if all the primal chaos reincarnation warriors come, I won't be afraid. Tao confirming warrior was the strongest existence in the primal chaos realm. Although Evil Moon was known as the strongest under the Tao confirming realm, he was still not enough to face a true Tao confirming warrior. He might not even be able to withstand 3 moves from a Tao confirming warrior. This was the strength of a Tao confirming warrior. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.